This is the XNC Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, XNC Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Well, welcome everybody, XC Podcast episode 207. What a great day. Thank you if you're here early. We're doing the show a little bit early. My son's having we're doing partial birthday today, but yeah, we just thought we'd get the show out of the way. I'm here with my excellent co-host, middle-aged game guy, also known as The Mag. How are you, bro?
Yes, sir. I'm doing fantastic. And you know what's funny? I didn't even know we were going to have such a special guest tonight. And I came on, and you guys were doing the pre-show while I was getting the kids' dinners ready and all that. I come downstairs, and King's just talking. I'm going, oh, the show's live. The show's live. And I'm like, don't say anything. And then I look over at the chat. It says like 140 people waiting. I'm like, what? I'm like, save all that goodness for the show. But anyway, you know he's going to keep bringing it. I'm excited to be here. We got a lot to talk about today. The chat's already rolling in. Hello, everybody. I see you guys all in there. See everybody say hi. All the people that came to visit some of my live streams this week. Death Stranding 2 is in the news today. We got some other stuff in the news today. Let's get into it without further ado.
You're right. There is so much. And a good friend of the show, a good friend in real life, King David of the Iron Lords and Xbox Frontline on YouTube. You can get to his channel and you can subscribe there. In the description, if you want to join the menace to society, King David joins us in the XSC Podcast. How are you on this glorious day?
It's an even specialer day for me. The celebration with my son graduating from middle school. To see my youngest actually, going through the steps and seeing the smile on his face when he's getting all the awards and achievements that his peers actually voted him for, and then his teachers and academic scholars that were there that actually gave him a great award. So it's a wonderful thing seeing that. Also, our Iron Lords podcast, we work with high schools and stuff like that too. So seeing the education in the children's eyes and the growth, it's incredible. So I can't wait for him to just start to go to high school, and it's an incredible day. But what even made it greater, my phone was sitting there, and I'm going through R&R with Attic. We're doing some stuff, and we're doing some edits for Sega and stuff. And my phone goes off, and I'm like, oh, I got a text message. That's weird. And I look, and it's Colt. See, actually, Colt has my number for real, people. So we're not just Twitter friends. So he hits me up and he's like, yo, you want to come on? I'm like, definitely, 100%. We're going on Ellie. I said, fantastic. I will be right there. So I had to edit my video. My video goes up at 8:30 p.m. tonight. And that doesn't mess with his videos because we're live right now. And it's dope. I missed you in California, bro. Like that's like a tradition, and you would have been so welcome. But I heard you had a graduation as well. That's why you was there.
Yeah. Everything's really, really good. Meg and I have been talking a lot behind the scenes. Life is really good. The games are flowing in like crazy, and it's just a lot of exciting stuff. Xbox completely shocked the world by coming out of this showcase, pretty good showcase, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, next generation is coming," and that's going to be one of the big topics of discussion today. As we talk about like how soon could it be, and we were even talking behind the scenes when Mag jumped in, and Mag's like, "What did I just jump into?" And we were talking some inside baseball stuff, but really good stuff to talk about. I guess to kind of get things warmed up, let's talk about what we've been playing, because I've been playing Stellar Blade on PC and just kind of messing around with that, looking into maybe picking up Dune Awakening, but it's kind of here or there on if people love it or not.
You didn't get a chance to play it? You didn't get a chance
I haven't.
To play it? I played it twice.
So tell me what you think of it.
I think it's really good. If you are into those type of games, I don't have the bandwidth for another soul-sucking game. I'm sorry. And the world is beautiful. Yep. Everything is realized. It's very dope. We saw it back, I think it was PAX East first, and then we got a chance to touch it again at PAX West. I don't have the bandwidth in me. I'm not going to tell you. I mean, listen, if y'all guys are looking forward to it, yes. If you got the bandwidth, listen, I play Marvel Rivals in Fortnite. All right.
Yeah.
Those are my two addictions. I don't have another room for somebody else. I don't.
Who's your main on Marvel Rivals? That's why Squirrel Girl.
You know that I love Squirrel Girl. That's a hell of a waifu, sir. Spider Girl's Spider Man's daughter. In one world, she's called May. In this one, she's called something else. Because they take characters from different timelines in order to build this up. So that's why the banter in between is different timelines. But Spider Girl, I take her. She's really good. But then I can go between Namor, and if I got to be a healer, it depends on what the team needs, what we're looking for, if we were trying to really push the win, or if I'm trying to do some tasks and stuff like that. But I like it because it's a quick endorphin hit. It really gives you those endorphins really fast. It's a good game.
All right. Mag, what have you been playing this week?
Well, first of all, I want to address 509 Gaming in the chat. He just says, Mag, Final Fantasy 16 is annoying with all the cutscenes every 5 steps. I warned everybody that it is a cutscene simulator. It is not a game. I found myself, okay, you know what I did one day, and I'm not even kidding. I
They gave us a lot of crap for that last week, by the way.
Dude, it's ridiculous, but now people are also buying it, and I'm like, so you know what I did? I brought my free weights in the room, and I'm like, you know what? When these cutscenes go on, I can get some of my reps in instead of having to do this afterwards. Yep. If I kept going, I would have won Mr. Universe by the end of the week. All right, because it was ridiculous. I can't play this game anymore. I went back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Fantastic, completely different feel, different story, different vibe, different gameplay. The loop was better. I'm enjoying that much more. However, because this Thursday, and I will be doing it on the channel for all you maggots out there that are going to come join me. I got 18 new channel members of the magnificent maggots. So I was really happy about that. We're going to be doing a live reaction of the Capcom Showcase this Thursday, and they're going to be doing a dive on Resident Evil Requiem. Obviously, as most people who know, Resident Evil is my favorite series of all time, video game series of all time. And as a result, I've been going back and I've been playing Resident Evil Village to get everybody caught up on the vibe, the feel.
Just started.
What's that?
I just started it.
Oh, dude, it's such a good game. I mean, I played it back on the Xbox. All right, so I got on the Series X. You ready for this? You ready for this? I'm a guy with OCD. I got 975 out of 1,000 achievements. You know, it's still bothering me to this day because there's one achievement I couldn't get. It was worth 25 points, and it was like that. There's like an extra mode after the game where it's kind of like a mercenaries mode. You're running around just like John Wicking all these zombies and werewolves and whatever. And there was one I couldn't get because the time trial is so hard. So now I've gone back on the PS5 Pro and I'm playing it on there as well. So I'm like, I'm going to get the platinum. And then I'm going back on Xbox and I'm going to get that one achievement to get that 1,000. I need to do it. I can't let it go.
You're one of those people.
I'm one of those people. But here's the thing. King, have you ever played it before or is this your first time?
Well, playing that one, Resident Evil Village, yes. First time. But I played all the other games. Okay, so this is your first time playing it. You are in for a treat. If you love even just the vibe of like real old school gothic horror, big castles, you know, mist on the ground, really cool characters and all that kind of stuff. Terrifying characters, and they're amazing. Oh, man, it's just such a game. And of course, Lady Dimitrescu herself is like. Can't wait to see her. 7 foot tall waifu. I cannot wait to see her. But it threw me back when You did? No, I let her hit me in the game because I just was like, just throw me down and step on me. Like step on me. I don't care. With the heel, right in the back. Anyway, I feel you. I feel you. I mean, hey, listen, I might try it too. But the werewolves. See, I'm a huge werewolf fan. Yeah. That scene in the beginning where they're all coming at you and there's nothing that you can really do. And I'm running, I'm screaming because I stream on Xbox Frontline Gaming streams. So I'm streaming and I'm playing the game and I'm like, I'm screaming. And then a giant werewolf type dude like jumps down and like chucks me someplace. Yeah. I didn't know they had werewolves in it. Yes. It's werewolves, vampires. Yeah. I am so into this. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Well, I will say nothing more. I'll say nothing more. You are in for a treat. That when that game carries on, it goes into directions and areas you never even thought were. I can't play it in VR though. No. In VR, you will literally die. There are some extra. I'm not even going to spoil any of it, but there are some areas. There's different areas outside of the castle and outside of the village, and one of them is a house. That's all I'm going to say, and it is possibly the most terrifying experience I've ever done in Resident Evil. And it even trumped most of Resident Evil 7 in terms of fear. Was just that one house. I will say nothing more, but you are going to love it. I'm super excited. But anyways, I'm doing that, and then right after, can you imagine this on Thursday? So I'm going to finish Resident Evil this week.
and then Thursday doing the live reaction to Capcom, and then right after that, right into Death Stranding 2 because it comes out that day. I have a question for both of you. How are people playing it now? Besides the reviewers, there are people playing it today. There's people playing it tomorrow. They're like, oh, I'm live streaming it tomorrow. I'm like, how?
How?
Was there a deluxe edition? Is there something that they have like an early access? Like what's the story? Anybody know? Because it's supposed to officially come out Thursday the 26th.
Yeah, I figured it was coming out.
I technically can get it now if I wanted it. Because I have like mom and pop shops. I see. So that's the bad part when it comes to physical copies. That's the good part and the bad part. You can spoil it for everyone by getting it early from your mom and pop shops that aren't supposed to break street dates, you know, and, you know, when everything is all digital like the world is going to, you'll be locked back behind the door unless you pay to get that early access, which everybody's going to pay for. So I think everything that you're seeing is physical copies.
Oh,
all right. Okay. Fair enough. I just wanted to know. Yeah, some of the people in the chat are saying the same thing. So I was just wondering how people are getting access because I'm like, they didn't say anything about early access or anything like that. So I'm like, how are people playing it early?
You didn't play all of the first game, did you, Mag?
I play none of it.
Okay. I guess
sound like me.
I'm playing none of it.
I wrote it twice and I haven't played it once.
Listen, I don't want to play it. And that's why I'm going to think it's so much fun to go and stream the second one because I'm like, no, I'm going to stream the second one from start to finish because I'm going in there fresh as a virgin. I'm going to be like, all right, let's see what this is all about.
I say a lot for you.
You're confusing me now. All right, so when everybody's playing 2, I'm going to be playing 1, right?
Oh, okay. All
right, so the reason why somebody had gifted to me on PC, didn't even know. It popped up on my timeline. I was like, I didn't know I had this game. But then when it came out for Xbox, before they did that cross-pollination crap, I went out and purchased it. And then finally they was like, oh, if you had it on PC, you got it already. Whatever. But it was $40. I said, when the games come over that was money had it, I'm going to support. Right, because I understand they're going to reach probably a empty house, if you will, a lot of these games because that the zeitgeist have already left. But I do want to play the first one. Now, the only reason why I want to play the second one is because that maniac puppet he has on the side of his hip. I am intrigued by the maniac puppet. So I said, okay, you know what? I will endure the first one just to get to the maniac puppet in part 2.
All right, that sounds amazing. Soul Tech in the chat, unbelievable. The guy says, "Sup, Colton King." Who am I? I guess nobody. All right, that's fine, Soul Tech. I see you. What do you think? I don't see this chat. I'm old. I see the chat. There you go. See, King Style said hello. Thank you.
Yeah, both of you guys. I've got both of your channels in the description, so you can go click to those. It'll open up a new tab, and then you can hit thumbs down and unsubscribe on both of them. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, well, shoot. Every time I ask Mag, he's playing a mixture of something, and he's always got to sprinkle in Resident Evil. Let's get back to Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how that is.
Soul Tech. Thank you.
What's he got?
I was just kidding with you. No, he said, "Sup, Mag. I love you too, brother." I was just kidding, Soul Tech. I'm just having some fun. Come on.
Totally derailed. I want to grab this super that addresses your comment. George Purcell, thank you so much for the super. Says, Mag, if you have the DLC, you can play as Lady D and get that achievement. It's much easier.
You can play as Lady D if you buy the DLC?
Yeah.
Because I didn't buy the DLC for the PS5. It was on sale for like 70% off. You know how like Capcom did a big sale? And people were reaching out to me. They're like, Mag, I got these games on the Xbox or whatever, but how can I turn away a $10 or $5 Resident Evil 3 remake, a Nemesis remake or whatever? I'm like, then don't. Go buy it if you want it. Like I play on both systems for those, right? So like I said, Resident Evil specifically, I own them all on both. And my journey, as you know, Colt, my journey was to get perfection on every single release going forward. And I've done so, except for that 975 out of 1,000. It is driving me insane. But it's okay. I'll get back to it. Thank you very much for that advice. I didn't realize you could play as Lady D. So if you can play as Lady D, that's really going to help because she's got those big claws and stuff, right? So yeah, that'd be pretty dope. Thanks, man.
And you have to play with both hands on the controller, Mag. So that might take...
Well, wild crazy.
Yeah, that's like when I played Stellar Blade. My kids would walk in the room and they're like, Dad, How come you're not playing the game and just staring at the screen? And I'm like, what? I'm like, I told you not to bother me when I'm playing this game. And
The door's supposed to be locked.
Yeah.
Question. Yo, I didn't know that you cook so damn well.
No, of course
pops up on my TikTok. He pops up on my TikTok. Right. So first of all, I said, "Who's this bald-headed dude?" Right. Now, I forgot we follow each other on TikTok. Right. So we follow each other on TikTok, and I'm hardly on TikTok. I only go there to show my items. Right. So between the shilling, somebody sent me a message. So I'm like, okay, good. And then it says my friends. So I'm like, all right, who's this guy? Right. I'm like, damn, that look like Mag. And he's all eloquent, and he's there, and he's chopping up the food. And I think it was for your birthday or something like that, or somebody had sent you an item or something. And then I got trapped into the rabbit hole that is Mag.
Oh,
and I'm like, why doesn't this guy have a culinary channel?
Well, I'm 30 years. I'm 30 years in the culinary business. So, yeah, I know. This people have asked me that. I'm like, one thing at a time, guys. I'm working on the other channel. The other channel's starting to take off. I'm like, let's do that. I'm gonna start doing more of that. And you know what's funny is that, King, you're absolutely right. I am rarely on TikTok. I might post once every few months, and then I forget I even have the app because I'm so like tuned into like YouTube and then of course Twitter, which is basically. You know what I mean? They're basically bedfellows, right? So it's so hard to tear away from that, the live streaming, everything else. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's right, TikTok on top of it. But the problem is, I would imagine for most of us out here in the world, we have careers and children and families on top of that. I'm like, if I was doing this 24 hours a day, different story. Right. You know, like, but man, when you've got that career and the kids and the wife and the this and the that, thank you, Bobby Hug. I appreciate that. It's hard, man, to keep up with all these apps. Because I see these guys
I'm
like,
telling you, you got it, man. You got like the magic, bro. Like, I mean, you got it.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Did you see the picture I posted on your timeline on Father's Day?
Oh no,
the one with the huge barbecue, and I was cooking like 40.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah. All right. I needed to talk to you. I needed to pull you to the congregation. First of all, my joint was a joke. It had like 5 hot dogs, and it was something. I know. Yeah, but I'm just like. Everybody said, "Who is this guy cooking for? The 40th rank, like the 30th brigade? Like, who is this guy cooking for?" I said, "If I ever had that much meat on the grill, pause."
It looked like the grill was like,
the grill was crying, like, "Come on, Mag!" I'm like, this guy.
My water on the screen, yeah.
I said, "This guy is cooking for the neighborhood. You are the neighbor I need next to me, even though I don't eat meat, but." You are the guy I need next to me. I know it doesn't. I saw your channel, sir.
Yeah. I do all that kind of stuff. Hey, no,
Meg's house
I'm
smells.
Italian. We cook, dude. We cook for 6 people. We cook for 50. That's how it rolls, right? So it's just like, and then what we do is I do the West Indies thing. I got the takeout containers stacked up next to the stove and be like, on your way out the door, you grab yourself your food and you're taking it home. So that's how we do, right? And that's how Italians do. That's how all the people I work with do the same thing. When we go to their house, I'm walking out with more food than I walked in to eat. You know what I mean? They're putting the Chinese takeouts and they stack them up next to the sink and be like, get your fried rice, get your curry, get your meat, get out. That's it. Like
West Indian in your house.
Yeah, at Meg's house.
No, not me. No. All the people I work with are all West Indies.
Oh, yeah, good, because my people's from St. Croix. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. My all the people I work with are all like all Trini and
yeah.
So yeah.
So I hear the patois coming out of your voice sometimes if you let you go a little bit, right? So I'm listening to you and I'm like, oh, he knows the culture, right? So when you pick up the phone at night, do you say hello, good night?
You know what I've caught myself saying to some of the kids now once in a while, and it's kind of funny because I don't say it properly, but I just catch myself saying it, and the kids are running around. I'm like, guys, you got to get the thing, got to go to soccer, get your shoes on, and no one's listening. I go, hear me now? I go get the shoes and go out the door and let's get into the car. And then as soon as they hear me say that, they stop. Because they were raised also by Guyanese, which is South American, for anybody who doesn't know. And they're very similar to West Indies style and Jamaican and everything else. Right? So they were raised by them. Their daycare people were run by them. And my kids were raised so strict. When they hear me now, or hear me now, they freeze. They just like this because they know it's coming, right?
Yeah,
and it's kind of funny to see Irish. It's kind of I'm Italian, but my wife's Irish, so it's funny to see Italian Irish kids understand the language better than but it's
that's
pretty
nice.
funny.
That's nice, man. Sorry, Colt. We went on a tangent.
Sorry, buddy.
I love it.
Sorry,
I love it. Yeah.
So video games.
Yeah, video games, I guess. A big day for Death Stranding 2. Yeah, you were saying that you'll start the first one. Paris said that if you start the second one, it gives you a good idea of what, it breaks down everything. I played the whole, I did probably 70, 80% of the game, because you can do way more than you need to in Death Stranding 1. And took a lot of heat because I played it for the first time when it came to PC 8 months after it released. And then when it came to Xbox, I went all the way in because, heaven forbid you play a game on your favorite platform with your favorite controller, with your favorite ecosystem, your favorite friends online, your favorite thing, achievements, all that stuff. And now I'm asking the question, because Death Stranding 2 is a 90 Metacritic. I just played the first one at the beginning. Was it the beginning or end of last year? It was like November I finished it of last year. Do I go back into Death Stranding now, or do I sit back and wait and play it 6 months or so after it releases on PC? Asking that question alone, King, on Twitter socials really put certain one console fanboys into tizzy. They were really upset that I wouldn't play that game immediately on my PS5. And I probably will. The more I think about it, I'm like, no, I don't think I want to wait because there's kind of a lull right now. Like, we're in the summer. I'm surprised this game is releasing next to July when no games usually release. But that's kind of where I'm sitting. But what a mess
There's no
today.
Xbox games is over there. It's dry. That's what you said.
Yeah. For once, Xbox is. Wait, they are. Aren't they releasing Tony Hawk 3 and 4 really soon?
That's
Mag?
right. Yeah, it's gonna dominate that store again. Back at it again.
It's been so messy. So Death Stranding 2 is a thing. Everyone's talking about it. But the other thing was the Final Fantasy 16, and our good friend Destin really riled up people when he said, I thought this thing didn't sell well, and it's number 4 on the top paid on the Xbox store, but it's next to Mortal Kombat 11 and Wolfenstein New Colossus, which are old games, and they're like, oh, that means it sold like 5 copies, but it's also right next to Minecraft. But I looked.
It's number 4 and number 9. Both.
Yeah, the two different versions.
Crazy.
Yes.
Yep.
King knows his stuff. And I went and looked. Wolfenstein New Colossus and Mortal Kombat 11 are on a deep sale on Xbox, and so people are picking that thing up like crazy. So that's why an older game is sitting next to Final Fantasy 16. So, yep, Meg and I went kind of hard.
Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat 1?
Mortal Kombat 11. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. Yeah, it's on sale for like $6. So everyone's like jumping on that, and it's selling like crazy. So I don't know. The funny thing is Wolfenstein and Mortal Kombat, Meg, are on Game Pass right now. So you don't have to buy it for a deep sale, but people are still buying games because, big surprise, people still buy games even though they're in Game Pass. So I don't know. That was just like a big argument.
I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do that. I thought once it's in Game Pass, it's like locked off from cash. Like,
yeah.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, but it's true. Like when I see a sale go on of something that really connects with me as a gamer, whatever, and I will still sometimes go out and buy it. It's not that there's fear that like, oh no, one day it's going to leave Game Pass or anything like that, or if I'm buying it on the PlayStation, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, if I see it there and if it's at a really good deal, I'll buy it anyway because I like to have the legacy with me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that I say, okay, well, at any point I could just go back and do this, and I think a lot of people feel the same way, especially when it comes to a sale. Now, in regards to what you're talking about, Final Fantasy 16, it's not on sale at all, right? You're talking about the other games that were on the list of the best sellers were on sale.
$50. I mean, the base version is $50.
Oh, I didn't actually know that. Okay, because I
There's
had
two
bought
versions,
it a
right,
year
King?
ago.
Yeah, it's 2 versions. It's the $50 a base version, and it's the
Right.
DLC version that is, I think it's $69. Right, so you have 2 versions that's selling inside the store. The fifth, I don't know which one is peaking at 4, probably with the $50 base version,
Right.
and then the one that's peaking at 9, and it's still in the top 10, right? So you got to really look at top 10 sales, and this thing is occupying 2 spots inside the ecosystem. And
I get you. Okay.
That within itself tells you that it's a success, right? because you could have had one version occupying the
Hold on, King.
What?
The $70 complete edition is number 4. The cheap version is number 9. Okay, keep going.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's even crazier.
Wow.
that's a
I just got
glizzy.
goosebumps. I just got goosebumps because that's like a reverse logic to it. So you mean to tell me
Hey, King.
that Xbox guys would rather spend more?
Hey, King.
Whoa.
All they
That's
do is
crazy.
lie.
Oh, well, we know that already. Right? Don't pay them no mind because they didn't want Xbox games, but imagine what they're doing over there. They're like selling like hotcakes. And this is the reason why I said it, right? So Death Stranding is coming out. Me personally, I'm waiting for my Asus ROG Ally. Around that time, it'll probably be on PC. And if it does day and date in PC, then you know you're definitely completely done. I'm definitely picking it up on my Xbox ROG Ally because I choose to have all my games in one device. Right? You know, I just like to use my Steam. I will use my Xbox. I use my Game Pass. I like the versatility what it gives me. You know, so it's no rush for me. I'll play the old one and get up to speed, and then by that time I'll jump on my Xbox Asus ROG Ally. You know, the Xbox handheld that everybody's been asking for. The one that's supposedly not going to sell, but I know my copy is guaranteed.
The one that's not an
buying it.
Xbox.
Oh, well, if it says Xbox on it, has operating system, I'm able to play Game Pass on it. Well, check me out over here. I'm having fun doing what I want to do, right? I don't need to have a device made by a specific manufacturer to tell me what it is.
Oh.
I don't need that. I come
really?
from 3DO, right?
Oh.
I had a Panasonic, I had a Sanyo, I had a Gold Star, you know, and if anybody understood, this is not the first time this has been done. You know, I also had a Steam machine where you had Alienware, you had a Hewlett Packard device, and you had another device that was there. So this is not the first time it's done. It's the problem is they're afraid that it's
HP
the first
didn't make
time.
a gaming device, did they?
Didn't they have a Steam machine version? Right, but these dudes don't understand.
That sounds funny.
They don't understand.
Hewlett Packard and gaming.
But you know they're going to make a handheld, right?
Yeah. What, Hewlett Packard? They're not even around anymore, I don't think.
There's 2 questions. Well, that's right. I have a
Yes, they
question,
are.
and then
I go to HP every year.
What?
Yeah, I know.
I go to I go to HP event every year. Yeah. They're
You
making
can't
a
call
handheld
it,
though.
in the 2020s, you can't call it Hewlett Packard. It sounds like you come right out of the 90s.
Well, I am. Like
90s. We came out of the 70s. What are you talking about?
So, thank you, Mag. Please give him some ginger tea.
I'm going to go ahead and play this on my Hewlett Packard with the dot matrix printer.
Oh, so you wanted me to be hip and do what they did and just say HP.
HP. Yeah, hit points.
Listen, I'm walking around with an Omen on my arm because we're sponsored by Omen, but they're coming out with a handheld. It's going to be Windows 11. I wonder what's that device going to be. MSI has a Windows 11 device as well, and a host of others. And that operating system is going to be upatched and updated, and everybody's going to have an Xbox immediately. I'm sitting here with my Asus ROG right now. This is an Xbox. So you can tell me it's not. That's good. I don't care. I know I got a handheld. Just because y'all ain't got a handheld, you can't tell me what I don't have. Right? And if I can play your games and my games, I'm having a great time. But Death Stranding on my handheld, that's what I'm going for.
So I have a question. Do you guys remember the release cadence between the PS4 and PC when it came to the first Death Stranding? You guys remember? Like I don't remember because I didn't.
It was 8 months. It was 8 months.
Oh, it was 8 months. Okay,
and it was 8 months back.
8 months from.
It was 8 months back when PlayStation still owned the Death Stranding IP. They do not own the Death Stranding IP at launch of this game. So I'm assuming it'll be a 6 month window.
So you're saying it could possibly be sooner. So when King is saying you could be playing it on the ROG Ally, that's actually a pretty realistic possibility then, is what you're saying.
Okay, I think so.
I'm curious.
What do you think?
The second thing I was going to say is Paris
go ahead.
comes in
Yeah.
Sorry, like the Big Show in the WWE from the 90s, like, yeah. He comes in, hashtag there will be a PS6. I'm like, Houston.
Okay, so what he's doing is he knows that if you go to my store, there's merch in there that says hashtag no
Yeah,
PlayStation 6. I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
the
yeah,
boot
yeah.
on Kong's neck this whole generation. We're gonna run it up on these bums. Listen. And he knows my thought process to this. That handheld is coming for the PlayStation. Yes. And that's going to undermine the PlayStation 6. Like, I don't think they're going to put out an $800, $900 machine. I don't think so. And I don't think the PlayStation 5 Pro has actually peaked yet. So I do think they want to continue with that audience. And if you did look at the CNN, teleprompter reading report that they did give you, they were afraid to really talk about their next gen endeavors. So I think that means it's not ready yet. And I think if you push it back too far, it may never come out. But you might have a great PlayStation 5 generation. And I say go buy a Pro. Go have fun. Next year, new Xbox.
Okay, let's dive right into it, because King was doing this behind the scenes. I'm like, whoa. Like this is big. Because I've done a lot of thinking about what could happen next generation. I put out a short yesterday. The cool thing about shorts is I can make those in about 20 minutes. Let's talk about the possibility, guys, of Xbox actually launching next generation in the holiday or end of the year 2026. King, you have a lot to say about this. What's your reasoning behind this? No PS6.
Three reasons, right? And when it happens, I want you to be the first one to say, "Damn, he said it." But if they do come out with a machine and it's not called a PlayStation 6, I still win. All right. Okay. So, all right. AMD.
You're like, where do I start?
AMD has the incentive for the server blades with the Azure cloud system. AI and the cloud is really where Satya kind of puts his focus. His whole focus is growing AI in the cloud in the next coming wave of what's going on with software, as far as where Microsoft is going. So updating those servers is paramount. That's why when you saw Dr. Sue from AMD talk about the next generation of Xbox, she showed you server blades. She showed you AMD and Radeon. Those will be inside those server blades. Right. Now, what was in those server blades before? Xbox hardware. That hardware is being updated. Now, anybody who's been following me understands that Xbox and Microsoft in the background has been updating their cloud services to give you a better, robust ecosystem when it comes to cloud. Now, you have to do that with updating the silicon. That means hardware has to show up. This is the reason why they signed this deal with AMD, a multi-year deal, with making sure that hardware will be there. So hardware will be introduced. Next year is what? The 25th anniversary of Xbox, where you're going to have Halo, Gears, and Forza launching, Perfect Dark, Clockwork Revolution. Games of this nature is going to permeate the ecosystem. Fable, launching with a new hardware, launching with the new Call of Duty. If you just saw Tom Henderson's report from The Verge, a known reputable leaker for Call of Duty has stated repeatedly that the next Call of Duty will be releasing in 2026. It won't be playable on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It will be playable on the series consoles and the PlayStation 5, but also being developed for Xbox next gen hardware. So if you're releasing day and date, and the best place to play the new Call of Duty, might I add, there's a reason why Grand Theft Auto skipped this year. I've been saying it for a while.
Oh boy.
The best place to play that game without the CPU bottleneck of the so-called superior console would be on the next gen Xbox hardware. Now, everybody says, King, you're crazy until I'm right. And when I'm right, then I'm not crazy, right? Y'all it's just too late to jump on the ship. I've been telling you they're coming out with hardware. I don't know how many times that Sarah Bond has to tell you. I don't know how many times Dr. Sue has to tell you. But I'm giving you the reasons why hardware is going to be there. I'm giving you the reasons why next year hardware is going to be there. I'm giving you the reasons why Xbox is going to be the best place to play your next generation games. Because they don't have to wait. They didn't do a mid-gen refresh. So if this gen is over, they are taking everybody with them regardless. Well, right? So their whole trilateral. Yeah, go ahead.
I want you to tell us about when you say they didn't do mid-gen, you were saying some stuff before we went live about there were project names and you were breaking this down really well. Even King explained some stuff that I kind of forgot that broke in 23. So you said that Phil didn't want to do a mid-gen. So what's that situation? What's going on in what you're seeing?
Remember, they were reporting that Brooklyn was being made. Brooklyn had the new controller. Brooklyn had updated Wi-Fi. Brooklyn had more RAM. Brooklyn had a little bit more stuff in it. It would have just been a minor iteration to what is existing right now. Right? And what is existing right now hasn't even been utilized to the fullest. I mean, it's probably the most complete, and I'm talking about the Series X, is the most complete unit that's available right now. If you look at the PlayStation 5 Pro and the PlayStation 5 base, the CPU is the bottleneck regardless to what. I think if they would have updated the CPU on the PlayStation 5 Pro, you would have saw more returns on the yields. They leaned heavily into the pisser in the box. I thought that was a mistake. I thought that actually upgrading the CPU would have helped out. But regardless, that's their choice. Microsoft and Xbox saw the metrics. They weren't selling that much. So putting out a higher price console with a minor iteration that developers may or may not take advantage of forces you into a position of having an overpriced hardware that nobody's buying in an ecosystem that people are just kind of looking at, right? So apparently they need to focus on the software. They got all these developers that they got. Software is key. Abandon the Brooklyn project, turn that into the next gen project. Also, they had Keystone. Keystone was a cloud streaming device. They abandoned that project, teamed up with Amazon, takes Amazon's tech and their subscriber base, places Game Pass on Amazon where cloud and infrastructure
and
works
Samsung.
Best. And Samsung
now LG.
And LG. And NVIDIA GeForce Now.
You were saying
that's also
you were saying that they were doing a lot of they were kind of like taking these steps forward and seeing the market change and kind of taking a leap, and like you were talking about they wanted to do the handheld, they wanted to have this dedicated box. Like when he says Keystone, King's talking about
Keystone
this
is the cloud.
Yeah, it's like this cloud box, kind of like a Roku box that had some compute in it that would help cloud gaming better. And you said that Xbox looked at that and they're like, maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe the future is, sorry.
Sell it. Why manufacture? Yeah. Why manufacture it and sell it? Why try to establish a new pipeline where there's an existing established pipeline that sells in the buckets? I mean, Amazon Fire Sticks sells in the buckets to people. I went to my father's house. I brought my Fire Stick with me because I just brought my controller and my Fire Stick. He saw it in action, brought 4 for the TVs in his house. He's not a gamer, but his grandkids come over, right? So your grandkids come over and you're able to, here's a controller, go to any room and have fun. He's one of those dudes. He wants to be on the cutting edge, maybe not know it, but understands, okay, this is what the kids are doing now, right? So good. Fire Sticks work for them. I'm not saying that is the end all be all. It's an option. They don't need to sell that. They already have somebody in a partner that can actually sell it. Same thing with the handheld. Why manufacture a brand new handheld, right? When you already have somebody has manufacturing, has distribution, has in-store kiosks, has everything that you don't have to set up. All you got to do is slap your name on it, give an operating system, and make sure everything is ubiquitous across the boards. Why not do that when you're in software and services?
Like they can grab like 1 million Game Pass subscribers across Samsung, LG, and Amazon, right?
Easy.
And then they don't have to be in the hole on R&D or hardware or manufacturing.
None of that.
People don't like that.
People don't like their problem though.
That Xbox is like jumping into other people's living rooms via their other devices and saying, hey, they don't like that Xbox is like, hey, you like your games? How about we give you access to other people's games? And they've been saying you don't need a console for so long. And the people who don't play on the Xbox platform don't like that because it's a competition like never before.
What did Bill Gates tell you in the beginning?
I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Right, exactly. He wanted to rule the living room.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah.
So look at your devices in your living room and the devices that you use. If you use a gaming device and it's not your device that you make, how can I rule the living room if that device already occupies there? By putting games in there that come from you.
Trojan horse.
If you only have a television inside your living room and you don't have a gaming console, how can I rule your living room? By putting the games inside your television, right? The thought process is ruling the living room rules your dispensable time, right? Engagement became the metrics, but when Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer, first of his name, told you that engagement was the new metrics, and people said, nah, that's not the metrics. You're only saying that because you can't sell. Well, PlayStation just told you that engagement and MAUs is the new metrics. So what is it? They're selling well, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what is it? It's the fact that they're able to use your data to resell all across the world. You yourself are the data point. Your point of sale means absolutely nothing. It means zero, especially physical copies, means zero to them. But a digital copy goes a long way because it can show your spending habits. And then it can see your level of engagement with the game. And then it can see what you do within that game. And that data is so useful because that one person turns into multiple sales to different people all across the world, different companies that's using that data to market specifically to Colt and Mag. Right? So they're trying to figure out, why is Microsoft and Xbox doing this strategy? You're the most valuable piece of data that they will ever come across, be it on any device. And that's where the value lies. The value doesn't lie in the identity of a box. The value lies in the identity of the person. And this is the reason why Microsoft is telling you that they're crafting an experience around the player. It's in those words that means you have value. Those words. So that's where we're at with it right now.
I mean, the competition is doing really well, Mag, restricting you to only the PS5 or only the Nintendo Switch 2. That's going really well. But what would you be predictions, or, you've been diving into the hardware roadmap, like when Lisa Sue says we're making a family of devices. I want to hear from the Mag. What do you expect that Xbox is going to put out next generation if they're saying this family of devices? And we've talked about this, but where are you sitting today on what's coming?
Well, you see, that's the thing, is that we don't specifically know. And the reason why is, and like I said, I've talked to people at Microsoft, talked to some people in the big boy office and everything else, and we talked about it. Remember last year, a year and a half ago, where we were discussing about how there was going to be a dedicated console under the television, your standard console under the television. And then the one that I had actually talked to some people who were on the team working on it was the one that was going to be the dockable sort of handheld that was made by the Surface team. I spoke to a few people that worked on that project. We never heard about it being canceled, although we also never heard about it being greenlit as well. So the only one that we got for sure was the ROG Ally X. God, I can't say the whole damn name because it's so long, but you know what I'm saying? When I say, I'll just say the ROG Ally X. Yeah. But we knew about that one. Then the other one that they were looking at internally, whatever, that's disappeared now. But the other one,
we also Pembroke.
The one that's kind of,
Is Pembroke the native handheld?
Yes.
So now you've got the dedicated box is still there. It's still available, right? That's going to be the one that's coming out. So you got that. We don't know what's going to go on with this other one. Now, I think that what's going to happen is they're going to look very carefully at how this ROG Ally X sells in the fall, and then they could look at that and say, okay, these are the metrics that we got. Microsoft is a company of metrics. They are ones of dollars and cents and data. They will look at that data. They're not listening to you and I. They are, but I mean, they're not going to base their business model on us talking about it. They're going to look to see how the sales are. They're going to see the price range, which we still have yet to find out. We'll find out in August. And so we've got all those things moving forward. And then from there, then they could say, is it even worth bothering with that, let's say that Surface Team product. No, maybe we'll just push it to the side. Talk about what King was talking about. We have the Fire Sticks. Keep with that. Keep with the handhelds. Keep with the dedicated hardware. Let's see where it goes. Now, as for 2026, I'm 50-50 on this. And the only reason why it's been both companies have been going back and forth. If you remember, the CEO of Sony was talking about it, and he said it's coming sooner than you think. But then in the same breath, I'm hearing that it may come out a year after Xbox, where my prediction initially was going to be that Xbox was going to come a year after PlayStation. So this is like a three-ring circus of all this cross wires and information of all these people that are literally not really in competition with each other. They're in friendly competition with each other, and they're not getting the full story. So I'm getting half a story from the Sony, some of the people at the Sony camp. And I mean, I don't really know that many people in the Sony Interactive, like is in the PlayStation department. Most of my contacts are in Hollywood. So they know more what's going on, like with, for example, like the WB stuff, which, by the way, we'll talk about later briefly, I would imagine. So there's that. But the thing is that then you got the Microsoft guys who generally know what's happening on the other side of the fence because they all talk to each other. But now there's confusion. So now the word is that Xbox is indeed looking to come out before the PlayStation 6. And they may get that 360 jump, so to speak, of like anywhere between 8 months to a year, possibly. Sure. I don't think it's going to be that long. I don't think that Sony wants that kind of a lull in between the launch of a new Xbox hardware.
Do you think that PlayStation is threatened by the next Xbox console entering into the market?
Not at all. They're not threatened by Microsoft at all in that respect. They are working in tandem with each other, and they're making billions of dollars, but they do not look at each other as direct competitors.
Well, Xbox doesn't look at them as competitors.
No.
Sony looks at Microsoft and Xbox as a complete competitor because they wouldn't money had anything.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
in that respect, yes. And we talked about this. I've talked about this almost ad nauseum about this particular thing, is that they do want to sell the pieces of plastic, the hardware, whatever. The reason why is just like the models when it comes to Meta, Amazon, Google, whatever product is out there, Apple, they don't really care that you bought the box. All they care is that you now have access to their storefront. And that's what they want. You want to buy that Cardi B skin, well then Sony gets the 30% cut and whatever else, and that's where they make their billions. And so that's why they continue to do that. So when I see console fighting, people going, it's just plastic, it's not, it's accessibility. And that leads me into my next reasoning of where Microsoft is going, is that they're expanding their accessibility because they know that the real money is not in the direct software, it's in the storefront. And when you have more accessibility to the storefront, they make billions. And look what they're doing on PlayStation, bringing the games over there with Project Latitude and everything else. And then look at how PlayStation's reacting. They sell 84% of Call of Duty Black Ops copies on PlayStation. They made 30% for doing nothing, right? And they didn't even have the marketing rights. So Sony's profiting huge. Microsoft is profiting huge. And the way that I see it is that all it is a battle for accessibility to the storefront. Now, that's how it's going to continue to move. That's how Amazon is. King, tell me this. Do you think Amazon actually cares that Reacher Season 3, what happened in how you liked it, if you didn't like it or whatever? No. You know what they care about? They care about that if you got a hole in your sock while you're watching the show, the first thing you're going to do is go to the Amazon store that you're already a member of and buy yourself a new pair of Puma socks.
And that's my whole thought process. Like when we're looking at this, all right, the smooth brains are going to actually sit there in console war, right? And
yes, they do.
It is what it is. I'm a gamer, so listen, I could play the smooth game war with you all day long. I could have that fun with you all day long. Slip and slide, we had them, right? That's what we do. But I have everything, right? So I'm not going to limit my level of access because I know access is king. Don't you understand that these big corporations understand this? Now, Sony doesn't have the money that Microsoft does to make extreme pivots and extreme moves. One move can destroy the company. Concord, anyone? You're looking at Marathon. You're looking at all these games. So they know software sells, but at the moment, like Mag says, software is being sold to them through Microsoft. You have Call of Duty and they're getting 30%, but I got to raise a little red flag there because they have to market their devices. They have to distribute their devices. They have to manufacture their devices, and they have to have the servers up in the background. So those games and stuff going over there, yeah, it's a 30% cut, but you imagine this. They would love to have 100% cut. They would love to have a game that will bring them 100% of cash, opposed to 30%, because you can't operate off of 30, but you could survive. This is what I say when, Matt Booty says spend them out of business and stuff like that. When there's language like that being said, you're going to drip feed them. You're going to give them just enough to pay the lights, to keep the lights on. You're going to give them just enough so they can still operate, but never be a threat. In a year where they're talking about the best titles coming to that system, it's third-party titles. They're talking about Death Stranding like it's a first-party title, like it's never going to show up on an Xbox platform. It's a farce. This is a lie. Maybe Ghost of Yote will be the saving grace this year, and that's one tentpole title a year. They have regulated them to a sideline where they're releasing one tentpole title a year and baby steps, right? But at some point in time, they got to make money off of those tentpole titles, and they got to put it to PC.
I mean, don't they make money when they get Keeley's Game of the Year award at the end of the year?
They don't get a damn thing.
Oh, okay.
they get a thumbs up. Like,
I mean, there's always the goalpost move. Like, oh yeah, they only have one first-party game a year, but that game is nominated for Game of the Year. I'm like, what does that do for you? Nothing. What does that do for PlayStation? Nothing. What does that do for the studio? Gives them some really nice accolades and a nice trophy for their studio, which they totally earn. But the goalposts are always moving. Like, we sell more, we do this, we do that. It's like people aren't thinking about themselves as a consumer. They're always thinking about
conversation.
Yep.
That's smooth brain conversation. They remove themselves. They turn themselves into fake shareholders and fake stock investors. And I'm a consumer. I'm going to get it at the cheapest cost at no matter what. But to the point that I'm making, Microsoft knows for a fact that they're not going to put a game on Xbox. Right. There's a workaround. And the workaround is any storefront is going to be available. Sarah Bond was very keen in letting you know other storefronts will be available. Dr. Sue was very keen in letting you know other storefronts will be available on these devices. What Alex says, prepare your anus. Prepare yourself for what's about to happen next, because you have to launch on PC. And no matter what, there's nothing that you can do to stop those games being playable on the Xbox devices that have multiple storefronts.
Yep.
That's how you set a trap. That's how you close the trap.
What PlayStation's going to do? PlayStation's going to do the same dang thing that Xbox is doing. They're going to say,
they're doing it now.
They're like, well, we're making money off of those Xbox console customers. That's what PlayStation's going to say. The same thing that Xbox says when people buy Clockwork Revolution when it comes out on the PS6 or the PS5. They're going to say the same thing. Well, we're selling copies and making money off those PlayStation fans because it's dry out there. The 2/3 of their games are in the dirt. They're not even being released. And I don't know. I really like the plastic. I get excited about consoles and hardware. I get excited about new tech. But man, is it about the games? And Xbox is just dominating with so many games right now.
PlayStation has a ton of games. If they ever just release them onto the Xbox ecosystem, there's welcome gamers that will give you that cash that you so desperately need. And for some weird sense of pride, or maybe you don't have the developers necessary in order to make those ports available. Maybe that's the big thing. But Xbox has a ton of developers. They have so much developers, they can send a couple over to you guys if you just ask, right? What happened? The M-Team framework with Capcom, we didn't have the fighting games. We cried out for it. Jason Ronald and the team went over to Capcom. What do we have? We have the fighting collection, right?
Yep.
So again, there's enough developers, there's enough people on hand. Oh, I thought Black Myth couldn't be done.
All they do is lie.
Soon. in August. I can't wait.
Yeah, all they do is lie. Yeah. So I'm kind of with Mag. I'm like 100% confident that the PS6 is 2027. King is not so. There's no. I always ask my buddies, I'm like, what is King doing when he says no PS6? Because a year's going to roll around and they're going to show that big ugly box and it's going to be, it's going to be powerful, amazing machine. What do you think?
It's not going to be called it's not going to be called the PlayStation 6. All right. Okay, so this is my thought. This is my thought process, right?
Just do it.
I'm watching them understand that the majority of their users, the 124 million MAUs that they tout, majority of them is still on PlayStation. And they're trying to get them to migrate over. They don't want another scenario. This is the reason why they asked shareholders, because that was a shareholder conversation. Okay. All their fears were talked about through the moderator. So these questions were shareholder questions. And they asked, during a console release year, we know it's a downturn financially. What are you doing to ensure the mitigation of that downturn? Well, what you can extrapolate from the words is the PlayStation 5 has been the most successful money-wise, being because the majority of the fan base that is on a PlayStation 5 has been completely digital, right? So you have 80% of them that are digital. You have a 20% holdout that are asking for physical. You have a larger monetary gain when it comes to pre-ordering and digital copies. Why? Because you never had to ship to the store. You cut out the middleman. You make more money off of the software because it's magic money. So that's why the PlayStation 5 financially is the most successful device that they put out, because it's a complete digital machine. But you still have this PlayStation 4 people, right?
Yep.
Now, this is the reason why we don't have Windows 12 yet, and they're still working on Windows 11. When I did the research, there's a majority of people that is still on Windows 10. That's why this October, Microsoft is forcing you guys over to Windows 11. Because they don't want to put out a Windows 12 and still have the same problem with migrating you over from previous operating systems. The same thing with the PlayStation. The white paper showed that the PlayStation 6 was supposed to come out in 2029. That's the number. That's the date.
Really?
Don't worry about it. I got you. I'll
get
you. When Jim said the PlayStation 5 could be the last console, he was talking from a standpoint of where we're going tech-wise. I believe this handheld comes out. I believe this handheld is wildly successful. But this handheld, if you listen to what they said, wasn't going to be more powerful than the existing PlayStation 5 hardware. Actually, it will run PlayStation 4 games really well with patches and stuff needed to run PlayStation 5 games. So you're putting out a potato. That's what's my
You're putting out a Series S.
Right. But who is it marketed for?
The casuals.
To get those PlayStation 4 people over, right? It really plays your PlayStation 4 stuff. Really good. It's dockable. I think that thing is so wildly successful that you can elongate the lifespan of the PlayStation 5, further pushing the need for having a PlayStation 6 to the original date of 2029. I think that date of 2029 is too far away from Microsoft and what they plan on doing. That's my only reasoning.
I'm trying
Hashtag no PlayStation 6.
But do you think there'll be a PlayStation 6, but it'll be 2029? Or by then it'll be something totally different?
Late 2028, early 2029. Late 2028, you will have a device. I don't know if it's going to be called the PlayStation 6. See, I don't know what it morphs into. I know people is going to say, well, they've always had numbers. Okay, they had a PSP, they had a Vita, all right? They had a Portal. They have different names. I don't know what the device actually turns into. But I know they would have some hardware. But I know that handheld will extend this generation for them, because the PlayStation 5 Pro, I don't think is tapped in. I don't really think people have actually tapped into them. And the fact that Microsoft will be supplying games to them regardless, because they still will be supporting the series consoles.
Yeah.
They wouldn't lose anything. They will always see Xbox as, oh, they're not going to gain too much ground over there. Now, if Xbox sells 80 million, which I doubt, I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
But software, they're going to sell buckets of software all across the board.
I think that
we're going into a different generation. Yeah, sorry.
That's all they wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've wanted to distance themselves for a while, and I know as a fact they've wanted to distance themselves for a while from actually the hardware. They were working on they're working on their strengths. Their strengths are software and services, right? Software and services accessibility. And then look what they did. They infiltrated almost every single business across the entire planet, where almost everybody at every business is using some form of Windows, right? And so they've done all that. And then what they're doing here, they're like, okay, well, how do we start moving away from hardware, but not cut them out? It'll be offered very much like Apple, where it is based on demand. Colt, I told you this, and there are internal projections that I was made privy to. I would never breathe a word of that because only 5 people know that, and that would out them. But the internal projections of what they think they're going to sell next generation in terms of hardware. So what I can imagine them doing is producing that number, and then add 10% on top of that to stockpile, and then be able to, based on demand, to be able to release hardware. So you haven't painted yourself in a corner by saying we don't have hardware anymore, but deep down in their heart and in their soul, they're like, let's get the hell out of this hardware business, because it's a lot of money in R&D, production, distribution, everything else that has to happen, the shipping and all that kind of stuff, and of course the manufacturing of the product. What do you start doing? Start moving your software and services to another company that is known for making hardware, as they're doing this fall. That I don't think that is going to stop happening. I'm not saying that is for sure, but my personal guess is that, yes, is that you're going to have some form of hardware, the new Xbox, whatever. I do not. Maybe. And like I said, this is a 50-50 shot. It could be made in-house, or it might be a third-party machine as well, with all of their integration.
I have a prediction. I have a prediction.
But I don't know when it's coming out.
What, for Xbox?
All right, what's your prediction? Sure, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I think 2026 is possible. I'm more leaning towards 2027, but I think Xbox is going to put out their own console, and Meg and I are in agreement that they're probably going to. King, Meg and I have said we think that Xbox is probably going to top out at 15 to 20 million units in the next generation 25. with their console. So they'll kind of break in half of what they've got now. Okay, but I think in 2026 or 2027, Xbox is going to put out their TV set top console box, but I think they're also going to immediately move into OEM consoles and Steam boxes, like you talked about earlier. Let people like Lenovo, let other like Dell, even Razer. There was rumors that Razer was going to be talking to. What's that?
That's a Hewlett Packard.
We're now announcing the Hewlett Packard GC17. Yeah, that you'd have like Razer could make a console like PC box using AMD's SoC that is in the next generation Xbox. So all they'd have to do is partner with Xbox, get that SoC, build it into a small form factor PC that runs Windows, but instead of being able to swap out GPUs and RAM and everything's built down onto the board. And it's just a gaming PC ready to go with full access to Windows. Imagine you buy Razer's next generation console or PC hybrid, and it's $700-800, and you put that thing next to your TV in the living room because your gaming room is around the corner, and you can do your taxes on your family TV if you want, or you can surf the web. You can go on the internet. You can use Google Docs or whatever. Like, it would be a family PC connected to the TV, or just put it right next to where your PC was. I think when Mag says that they're going to leave the hardware business, it's actually a really good prediction that Mag's saying.
It's a 50-50. I think it's a 50-50 of which way they could go. I have no knowledge of what they're doing. I'm just saying it could go either way. But it's not my personal prediction. I'm leaving that one because a lot of people ask me, and I'm like, I'm not touching this yet because I don't know.
It's early.
It could go either way. It's a coin toss. However, I have a question for you, Colt. Specific. Well, King, you too. I was going to ask Colt because he's that tech guy. I'm not that tech guy, but I will ask this question. The question is this: if you have when you have like your Series X, and what King was saying about how they still have, by the way, I think it's about 15 million people on the Xbox One and 40 million people on the PS4 are still actively playing, right?
Yep.
And we've seen those numbers, and those numbers, of course, are more prevalent when it comes to games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, stuff like that. We see those numbers there, or they see them. But my question is this: if you have a closed operating system, let's say like a Series X or Series S, and you're going to move it towards, let's say, the PC, this Windows 11 situation, right? So remember, Colt, we talked about this last week when we talked about how games moving forward, you're actually going to be playing the PC versions of those Xbox games, right? So that when it comes to development, at that point, you're going to be developing for PC and PS5, as opposed to PC, Xbox, and PS5. So you would be, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at? So my question is this: if you're going to carry over the series consoles, most likely, as you've already done, to the next generation, let's say another 4 years into the next generation.
Yeah.
Like you have a Series X and people don't want to give into it. Are they going to continue to work on 3 different development cycles, or are they going to somehow do something, or put some kind of retroactively install Windows onto those consoles to be able to just sort of unify all of them, and then therefore they only have to develop once and not have to split teams?
I wouldn't expect that they would do
you understand what I'm trying to say by
that?
Yeah.
No, this is a super good question, because I don't think they would bring the unified dashboard over to Xbox Series, but they might. But I think one of the things you're alluding to is they may remove, there won't be a restriction in place where if Ubisoft comes out with their next game, they do not have to launch on Xbox Series or PS5 consoles. But, and this is why I laugh at the Xbox Series S potato complaints, because 90% of the games would absolutely run on the Series S, and games will continue to run on last generation console years into the next generation. So I don't think there'll be a requirement there. And I don't know if I'm answering everything that you're talking about there, but it is possible that they would bring this unified dash, this Windows into Xbox Series X and S. Yeah,
well,
you know what I'm saying?
From GDC, they had 7 days of GDC, and they sat down with every developer, and it was a concerted effort to make sure that they got all the developers up to speed on exactly what they were doing, unifying going forward. So the trinity, if you will, is one purchase, dual entitlements, full accessibility, play anywhere. Play anywhere is probably the key component to all of this, right? So there's summations that the Final Fantasy 16 version that we're playing now is actually the PC build of Final Fantasy 16, opposed to it being a ground up build for the Xbox. I believe going forward that we will see that type of dynamic based off of that, being that you will ask the developer to make one version. Now, if you're going to make a skewed off version, because, they're pushing their storefront. The storefront hasn't been, the mobile storefront hasn't been launched like it was supposed to last year due to litigation, right? So all of that litigation is actually coming to a head. All of this stuff is happening in the background. You'll watch the video that I put out later on tonight talking about the unification of the stuff that with Copilot, the stuff with Game Bar, the stuff that they're doing on the PC back end and front end to make those games accessible, from OG Xbox to 360 to Series X to future gaming. That's supporting your library through all the years of the iteration of the Xbox console series consoles. So that thing, I believe, would be the defining factor. Now, Jez brought up a bigger question yesterday with achievements, that I don't know if the PC is giving you achievements or stuff like that, or if that stuff is built into that, because I mainly play on my Xbox now.
It is. If you're playing on an Xbox PC, you're getting Xbox achievements. They just suck.
So what about Steam?
Steam has its own achievements.
Steam,
you have Steam pop-up achievements, and they're not as cool as Xbox's console achievements.
So I think that was his bigger question. If somebody buys it from Steam and you're playing the game in the Steam storefront, you don't get gamer score, you don't get achievements, you don't get stuff like that. I think at some point in time they need to work that aspect of it out, because of course they want you to buy the game wherever you feel comfortable, whatever storefront that you have.
They're all the same achievements too.
Oh, okay. So like
if you play Dragon Age Veilguard, there's 42 achievements, and they're exactly the same requirements, and I think the same point system. They're at least the same name and the same progression that you get on PlayStation or Xbox. So that would be cool to unify that.
Yeah, so there goes your cross entitlements and stuff like that. I think they're moving towards that. Now, I know people may say, I don't want to play a PC version of a game. You've been playing a PC version of a lot of games you just don't know.
How would you even know the difference?
Well,
it's
when you go
like
into settings,
pull up the new Gear Z day and go, well, that looks like a PC version to me, folks.
I mean, a lot of the games
I'm seeing with the keyboard and mouse. If I'm playing
this is the thing that scares the death out of them. I don't want to do this. Don't.
You don't
pick up a controller and do it.
Yeah. What was the last game I installed?
Get off my lawn mentality.
I've said this a bunch of times on the show, but like in the past few years, every game I install, it doesn't even say anything. It just says play, like start the game, and it's already set it at the resolution on my TV. It's already set the settings. It looked at my hardware and just said, here, if you can go look if you want. You can go into options if you want, but I've said it many times. I think console gamers need to elevate their position in life to where they can go into options and change a few things if they want. I want to read a couple super chats that are, thanks so much everybody who's supporting what we do here on the show. Hit the like button and show your support for King David and Mag, who are here. Of course, Mag is always here, but you can click on their channels and subscribe to their excellent content. King's got a video coming out here really soon. Literal Table, thanks so much for the Canadian 7, says, let it be known today is the day I stop playing Call of Duty multiplayer, and I will only play campaigns from now on because collabs are out of control. He must be complaining about the Beavis and Butthead stuff, but I feel like he was sitting down at Call of Duty Anonymous. Angel, thank you for the 2, says, you seen the added Steam games to the Xbox PC app? I entered the Insider Hub on PC today. I want to see what that looks like. I was hoping I could show you guys tonight.
Crazy, Colt.
Bro, millions of games. You're not getting that anywhere else. George Purcell, I got that one. Hold on. Sith Lord, welcome back. Says, Mag, thanks for stopping the fire. Chi-Town finally has good air, good quality. King is here. Thanks for starting early to keep up the great work. We appreciate you guys being here. Simon Brady with the 2 says, the PS5 Pro GTA 6 looking spooky. Xbox PC 2026. I can only imagine. GTA 6.
I don't know why they keep calling it an Xbox PC, but it's whatever. like we don't have AMDs inside our devices right now. It's just it's a code that locks you into a closed ecosystem. That's it. That's when they hack these devices, they're locking the code. They're breaking the wall so you can these are PCs we have here. They whack PCs, but they're PCs.
Did you get any arguments with people this past week where they were saying it's literally just going to be a PC? Why are you guys getting excited about next gen? Literally PC.
And I'm like, you're literally playing a PC that is like neutered. You're playing a neutered PC. Like when PlayStation removes the browser off because they don't want you playing in your browser, you're playing a neutered version. When you buy a Switch, that is the most DRM device I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Neutered. That's it, man. Come on. Like, they don't understand it. You know, they're so used to, I need this to play this, to do this, to be this. I am my device. No,
they're using restrictions as a bragging right. Lotus Esprit, thank you so much for gifting 20 channel memberships. I appreciate that so much. I saw everyone thanking you as well. Thank you so much for your support. Face 23, Brooklyn, New York has 2 super chats. He says, King, bend the knee. No PS6. It's coming November 2027.
Okay, that's nice. When I'm gonna pull back up in November in 2027, I'm gonna make sure I'm on this show. I want to be here every Monday. He goes live until the month is over in November 2027, and I just want you to buy all the shirts in my store. I don't want to hear nothing else you got to say. I want you to wear the hashtag no PlayStation 6. I just want you to wear that shirt, and I'm gonna send one to Paris. Paris gonna wear it next time I see him.
You know that the CEO of PlayStation said their next PlayStation is top of mind, was their quote.
Yeah, it's top of mind. It's driving them crazy. It drives Jim crazy too. He in witness protection, right?
He left,
so
he left
listen,
with a cookie.
like he I got some bad stuff to say about that. But and listen, everybody, if I don't know why you're worrying about a PlayStation 6 and these consoles haven't even been maxed out yet, please go buy a PlayStation. So half of them don't even have a PlayStation 5. They're saying, I'm going to forego this generation and get a PlayStation 6 and just catch up. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Why do you have to do the
It's going to be
Hewlett-Packard voice?
You know that, right? Like, we have a printer for you, right? No, you don't. like, you're not buying a $900 console. Remember, you told me that there was no way that they was going to release this PlayStation VR 2 for $600. And I said, Colt, it's going to be more than that.
I remember.
And you was like, what do you mean? I said, it's going to be $1,200. He said, impossible. They never sold out one unit.
The last one was like 400 something. I was like, no way. No way.
But it was $1,200 because you needed a PlayStation 5 in order to use it. So you needed to pay $6 and $6.
Hey, but it was
$12.
a success though. The PSVR 2 sold really well, and it had a really great, has a really great lifespan, right?
What are you talking about? They defunct that thing. Beat Saber ran away from it. Like when Beat Saber
beats the stank off of it.
It's disgusting. But listen, I got the device and I can't get rid of it. GameStop doesn't take it, so I'm stuck with it. So I'm gonna play whatever they put out. That's it. To the end of time, I'm rocking with it.
Oh, we're just having some fun. Just having some fun. Face 23, Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for the $20 super. Says Sony want to move PS4 players to PS5. Microsoft wants to move Xbox players to PC, especially since PC Game Pass is growing and not Game Pass on console. Mag, really? Thoughts? He says they want to move Xbox players to PC because console Game Pass isn't growing. Do you agree with that?
It seems that the focus is definitely on PC, and the reason why is look at the pricing, look at what's happening, look at the online component and everything else. Of course, they want you to leave the Xbox to move to PC. It's so much easier for them. So what are they doing? For anybody who's stubborn enough to stay on the console, like myself, they're bringing the PC to you.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking they're going to do that. So like, all right, you're not coming to this party. We're bringing the party to your house. It's like you're calling up your friend, like, dude, we're going out tonight. They're like, I'm not going out tonight. All right. Well, we're coming to your house. And then they show up at your front door. And so they showed up at your front door anyway. So this next box will be that PC thing. But here's the funny part. And this is the thing that I'm wondering about. Are they going to keep those prices the way they are? Like, for example, you look at PC Game Pass is $10. It's literally half the price. So you're going to still get hammered in the balls for having the console. You have to pay for online where PC is free. You've got Game Pass that's half the price on the PC, right? So are the console players continually going to have to keep paying that higher price? I have a question about that. That's what I'm curious about.
The higher price of what? The hardware or the online stuff?
No, not the hardware. No, the hardware. No, the hardware PC will always be, for the most part, be the more expensive option, right? As you're looking at like these graphic cards cost, you could buy 3 consoles for the price of just one graphics card. Right. Yep. But what I'm talking about is for example, he asked a question. Are they trying to move you over to PC? They absolutely, if they could do it, they would do it. But like I said, they're bringing you an option there. So it's easier for them to operate that option from their end. Right. However, my question is, it's like, well, okay, if I'm playing like a PC hybrid box under my television now, does that mean I'm still paying $20 for, well, at that point, it'll be $25 for Game Pass. And then am I still going to be paying double for Game Pass that PC players are? And I'm still going to be paying for the online component, which PC players are not.
I think you get a new tier system that's going to happen because remember, they still have to compete with Steam. They still have to compete with the storefronts on their own device.
That's a real competitor, not PlayStation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
So how do they compete with Steam? You talking a possible removal of Xbox Live Gold or whatever you call it, the live paywall?
I got to give Rand his flowers because Rand has been calling and ringing that bell for a while.
Not
right?
him.
So,
Meg, are you hearing this?
I can't tell you that I'm gonna hijack his talking point because he brought up valid points and he did have some people that did give him some words of advice when it came to that. I think Microsoft is gonna hold on to that bread for as long as they can hold on to that bread until the point that it doesn't make any sense. Maybe next year it doesn't make any sense. Maybe next year is the year, knowing that they're going to full battle mode when it comes to battling on your own device for those MAUs and an engagement in those apps that's going to be able to be launched from your device. I don't know what that battleground looks like, but what I do know is they have shown that willingness to pivot at the drop of a hat. Oh my God. That's the guy. He understands the truth. I like you. I like you. That goes good with a red snapper right now, bro.
All in. By the way, I opened that, ladies and gentlemen, with my custom
That's
mag.
what you had.
My custom mag bottle opener right here, ladies and gentlemen.
I love that.
Red stripe for dessert. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what you had. That's exactly what you had. His TikTok is rocking, sir.
Maverick, I'm not sleeping. I'm wide awake, dude.
You better capitalize on what King's telling you, Mag. I better see some more content because I'm on the TikTok. I'm on the TikToks, the snaps or whatever they call it. I'm on there once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Punty, come join me. I know you're not far away.
You made me buy that Amazon Echo thing. The one that moves?
The one that moves when you talk? Oh, yeah, that was in one of my videos.
You made me buy it.
Get out of here, really?
All right, so I have the standalone one right over here, right? Upstairs in the kitchen, I got one, and upstairs in the living room, I got one. It is the most magical device because you were making food with it, moving around in the kitchen. I said, you know what? I can get this for my wife. She's entertained in the kitchen. I'm going to make it happen. But we have our grandson now. I needed watching him in the living room. You, my friend, you really need to hit them up. You're a genius.
I wired the house with different rooms, different speakers, and the speaker on that thing is unreal.
It's dope.
Holy cow, does that thing ever? And then
it's just a big ass speaker. Yeah.
Yeah, and little echoes around the house.
I got the Echo Dots. Me too.
Yeah, like the little Echo Dots in different rooms, and everything is connected, and it's magical. And I also have cameras too. So if I want to change cameras, like Scarface style, I'm sitting up at the decks and I'm looking at all the screens. I don't even have to do that anymore. I could just check on my phone and check from room to room, see what's kicking. That's right. But that thing, when I was filming those videos, by the way, when I was filming those food videos, and I'm looking and I'm talking, and this thing is following me, filming me as well.
And
so it was filming me, and the thing is, if I forget something, I'd be like, bring that recipe back up, and then the thing turns like the robot from Rocky IV, follow me around, and it's like it turns at me and and then it shows you the recipe back up again, and then it does whatever you need. You talk to it, you do whatever. It's remarkable tech.
Yep. And I wouldn't have got it without you.
That's crazy you bought it because some people did ask me about that too. They're like, what is that thing following you around?
Yep, the Echo Show.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yep.
Yeah. That's wild.
How much is it, Mag?
Well, up here it was quite a bit. I would imagine for you guys probably infinitely cheaper. I don't remember.
I pay like $250, something like that.
Okay, so there you go. That's pretty cheap.
I mean, if you want a sponsorship deal with these guys, you gotta really sell it, right?
We paid a lot more. Well, I paid a lot more in Canada. We get hammered. Punty, I know you're not that far away, dude. Come join me. I'm right here. The porch is ready.
Machine XP, thank you for the 5. Says if you want to play a Ubisoft or EA game through the Xbox PC app, you do not unlock achievements. You only unlock them on the console. It's been years. There are some games that are cross. You can get both achievements on like Ubisoft, but I don't know how it works, and I haven't really messed with it. I played a bunch on
both.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, I got to play my my Assassin's Creed.
Yep. Cypher045, thank you so much for the 2. Says, should I expend Steam library for now already? Should I expend? I don't know what you mean.
Expand.
Expand.
Oh, like buy your games on Steam. Yeah, I mean, I have. I own over 100 some games on Steam. And Mag, you were saying that you don't. King, you play a little bit on
Yeah.
PC, and Mag's kind of like, I don't want to, and Rand's one of those guys I don't
have
want to
no
play
desire.
on PC.
I play
What
my
if-
Steam Deck though.
Yes. What if, Mag, the next
Yeah.
generation Xbox is a PC, but when you turn it on, it loads right up to the Xbox dash. Everything's accessible with the thumbsticks. You can go to Steam with the thumbsticks. You can launch the games. You can close the games. Like, because it's not really like that. It's sort of like that on PC. It's about halfway there. But if it was more
So it's just a
console-like,
console then. It's just console with a PC operating system.
yeah. What if the console was
Then
in
that
front
doesn't make a
first, and you had to move it out of the way to get to the PC thing? Then would you be more interested?
No, I just want the box that I turn on. I don't want to deal with all these all
Don't
that
say
crazy
it.
stuff and I'm gonna say it like all the
Tweak and twerk.
No, I don't want to do any of that stuff, okay?
Yeah.
The mesh shaders and all this nonsense. And I don't want to do any. Listen, I want fidelity mode.
Yeah.
I want performance mode. And that's it.
And you
Keep
want
it
the start
simple. Ray
button.
tracing on, ray tracing off. That's about it. Fiddle with the HDR when you're starting a new game. All right. I don't want to be dealing with sliders and all this for every single game. No.
Mag,
the
you know it's
platform.
harder to
I'm okay,
you
I'm
know it's,
okay with it, dude.
it's harder to calibrate an HDR game than it is to set up your settings and the graphics on a PC game. Because when you're setting up HDR, you're like,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You gotta-
you ever do that, King, where you're like-
in and out? Yeah. I'm
you
sitting
have to
there with
look
my
all the
away and
launcher.
look back again.
Yeah. What about all the launchers and all that stuff you got to download? This,
That sucks.
Whatever. You go to your
That
Windows
sucks on
screen.
PC.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then
I think
I just want to turn the damn thing on and have a dashboard. I don't care what it is. Just give me the dashboard. Give me a console with a PC operating system. I'm okay with that.
All right, so I give you this, right? That Xbox ROG Xbox Ally that comes out this year, that's the exact experience that they're giving you, right?
Yeah.
From the box. You press that Xbox button, immediately all it is that you just play your games from there. And what you're saying is, I think, you know how your phone comes preloaded with apps already to it?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's
Oh.
going to be it. I think it's
well,
going to
that-
already
that-
be preloaded with Steam and all that other stuff.
But that makes sense.
I think
makes sense.
Sony would be absolute fools for not having the PlayStation app available on the Xbox hardware. I think there would be absolute fools for not making that a thing. But then it'd be day and date, right? I mean, then you're able to actually do what you want to do, right? So that means you don't actually need their hardware anymore, right? But we're not a threat. Come on, little old us. You heard him. Colt said we're only going to sell 15 million.
I
It's
disagree
not
with
like
Mag
it's
on
40
that.
million of us out here.
Yeah, I disagree with Mag on that. I think that Sony knows damn well that Xbox hardware is a threat. It's a direct threat. Because because the Nintendo Switch is not a threat. Like right now, their third-party purchases are in the toilet. People only buy Nintendo games on that Switch. That's all they buy. They're just like, no, if it ain't Zelda, I ain't buying it. If it ain't Mario Kart, I'm not buying it. They're not buying Cyberpunk. They're not buying these third-party games. The direct
They're not,
competitor
I
is going to
know.
be Xbox. And Xbox next generation, the Xbox fans are going to have access to nearly all of PlayStation's best games. And so I got to ask both you, Mag and King, when is PlayStation just going to bend the knee and go day and day or as soon as possible on PC?
I don't believe they have the manpower to do so.
Really?
They went out and they got a couple of studios. I mean, Nixus is my heart. I love them. I
Yeah,
told
they're
you
good.
that was the downfall of them the moment that they purchased them. Jim had the foresight. I don't believe they have the manpower. So, I mean, well, now with Ben Studios probably being a support studio and Blue Point being a support studio, you're looking at studios that didn't actually make it. You're probably going to look at Fair Game Studio turning into a support studio. Bungie might turn into a support studio with the failure of Marathon getting ready to show up next. You
That's
got to
gonna be a
really
tough one.
look at the majority of their studios that's not called Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch as support studios. So maybe you might have some credence in what you're saying, that they do have enough studios in order to produce a PC version of their games day and date. But they needed to be day and date the moment that they started dipping their toes in the water. I just don't think they had the manpower to make that thing happen. That's all. They do have the IPs. I don't think they have the manpower to make it happen.
Mag, what do you think? Do you think the PlayStation would be just fine waiting to put their games on PC later?
Well, they haven't been unfine so far. So I think that there's two answers here. King is correct that they would need more support studios in order to bring them to PC faster. However, I don't think that that's their end goal. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's their end goal. The end goal is to get you onto the PlayStation.
Why do they need more studios, Mag? Like every one of Xbox's every Xbox studio, big or small, is making a PC and Xbox version before they launch the game.
Because
In Exile is not any bigger than any PlayStation studio by any stretch of the imagination. And
true.
I mean, they've always done
however,
it.
It's a different story. Microsoft since 2016 has been making them day and date for PC. So as a result of that, it's already ingrained and sort of pre-built into the fabric of each studio that they are going to be developing day one for PC. Whereas PlayStation, what they do at that point, they want you to buy that PlayStation 4, 5, 6, whatever, and they're going to continue to do that because they want to keep you in that ecosystem. Now, the PC sales of those games are supplementary income. But what they've done at that point is that once the game comes out on the PS6, okay, let's just say whatever, then what happens is then they start development on a PC port of that. Well, the team that made the game for the PlayStation 6 is already off and making something else entirely. They're not going to take assets away from that team to develop for the PC, and that's where they outsource it. And that dives in directly into what King just said. That's why they need more support, third-party support from the outside to do that, because it's not ingrained in their studios. For example, Naughty Dog is not going to break off 100 developers from Intergalactic to make a PC version. They're going to make it for the PlayStation 5 and then walk away and then start working on, God willing, Last of Us 3. And then if they're doing something like that, then they outsource it to another company because now all their team is busy working on the next project. Whereas, as I mentioned, Microsoft has already developed it in a way where their studios are already co-developing for both systems simultaneously, and that's not what Sony wants. So there's, I hope that answers that.
That corrects me pretty well. And with the help of Paris in the chat, he says Compulsion Games is one example. They weren't big enough to make a PC or a PlayStation port, so the game is exclusive on the Xbox platform right now, and will come to PlayStation 5 later. And I do know Xbox has some smaller studios. And the other thing that I missed that I didn't explain properly was that these studios have been making PC ports for a long time. And when you were talking to Mag about Naughty Dog farms out the PC port, they've always just like built a game that was developed just for one console, which is really in the focus thing, because like we've all been saying here, these games are essentially, they're built on a PC. I don't know if Naughty Dog themselves builds everything on a PlayStation dev kit. I'm pretty sure they build tons of stuff on a PC using 3D software and Maya or whatever they're using, for sure. A super here from Do You Know the Broke Boy Insider. Thank you so much for the 2. Says,
hey,
Mag
what's up, buddy?
Said Mag disappeared to look at that Lady D picture that he sent again.
Okay, King, he actually sent me a picture of the 3D model of
No, it was a cosplay woman.
Oh, sorry. No, not that one. Yeah, there was a cosplay of a woman at one of these cons, and she's wearing lingerie, and she's the Lady Dimitrescu. And I swear to God, I think she was 7 feet tall in real life, this woman. Anyway, it was wonderful. So I was all in on that. But no, I wasn't looking at that picture, broke boy. I had to go to the bathroom, and I was grabbing myself beer.
You had to go to the bathroom with the picture.
With the picture. Oh my God.
Don't let Hewlett Packard find out.
I see a sponsorship coming on. Game Seeker, thanks for the Canadian 5. Says, King, when is Xbox sending you them custom Xbox Crocs? Get this man a Croc sponsorship.
I'm going to get a Croc sponsorship before we go to China. Yeah, I know we're going to Japan this year. I know we're going to Germany next year, but I plan on going to China next year as well. So before I go to China, I will have a Croc sponsorship.
Yeah.
King, are you guys going to the Gamescom? Is that what you guys are doing over there?
When we go to Germany?
For Germany, yeah.
Are you going?
Yeah. Well, not this year.
No, not this year. 26.
Yeah, 2026. Yeah, I think next year is going to be such a monumentous year for Xbox. So we're going to probably be at every show that they're going to have. Be it next year. Colt should be there at the Fanfest. It's going to be larger, greater than what now.
Yeah,
Uh,
2026
and
might be
then-
when everything gets announced, whether
You
it's
guys
coming
know
out or
the,
not.
Gamescom
Yeah.
is usually what, August?
Yeah,
in
it's August 20th or
They
something. I was
yeah,
thinking about
yeah,
going.
20th.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
sucks. No, it sucks
Yeah,
because not the
I'll be in
Fan Fest,
Chicago
Gamescom.
around that time. Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk
'cause I'm going
about.
to be in Munich in
And the
September.
Tokyo
so-
Game Show is in September to October. We'll be there. So
Nice.
yeah, Tokyo Game Show is going to be phenomenal. And they got some stuff that Microsoft is going to announce at Tokyo Game Show. Look forward to the Iron Lords revealing stuff.
When is Tokyo Game Show?
Excellent.
September?
It's in September to October. Well, it's in September. We're going to be from September to October.
How long
it's
is
at
that
the end of
flight?
September. 16 hours.
Yeah,
16 hours.
That's a situation because
Mhm.
Yeah.
my brother flies to China. He actually has to stop. He has to stop in Japan first, then take another plane from there, and then into mainland China, and then from
Yep.
there another plane from mainland China to where he has to be to do his.
I'm
Yep.
picturing the Indiana Jones map when you're talking about this.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
We're doing a
Pretty much.
documentary on it, so you're gonna get
Oh,
a chance to see the
awesome.
documentary of the Lords. It's
Oh,
gonna
that'd be
crazy.
outstanding.
Sorry.
See, like Germany for us, Colt, for you and I, we're on the well, actually, all of us are pretty much. Well, King and I are East Coast, so
Yeah.
like
It's an
Germany
extra
6
4
hours.
hours.
So it's not that bad. 6
What?
hours for
Oh,
What,
yeah,
to
it'll be at
Germany?
least 12. When I flew to London last year from Seattle, we landed in Iceland.
Right. Yeah.
Landed in Iceland for an hour layover, which is basically just get there and go to my gate and sit for a little bit, and then it was time to go. And then another plane dropped me onto Gaz's house right on the roof, and it was amazing. I want to talk about
So they
Gamescom here in a
dropped you out of
minute.
the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks because I'm going to be in Germany next year. I'm going to be in I'm going to be in Munich in September, so I'm going to miss Gamescom by like 2 weeks.
Well, if Microsoft sends me to Gamescom this year, then I'm gonna go.
Sure, yeah.
So we'll figure that out because we do have some stuff that's popping up. Yeah, I know you look. I saw the calculations in your head, Cole.
I know.
I saw you.
There's a lot I got to
Colt
say.
and We
Yeah.
got some stuff. Cole, we got to do some meet and greets in some of these like the PAX Easts and stuff like that. We got to do it, man. People are literally begging us.
I mean, I'm going to PAX in Seattle, but I miss PAX East already happened, and I'm thinking about
No,
Gamescom.
I'm talking about next year. I'm talking next year stuff like
yeah,
that.
next year.
the
If my
faraway
channel
stuff
isn't
is
dead,
wild.
yeah, I'll probably do some.
What do you mean if
traveling.
your channel's gonna be dead? Where's it going?
Actually,
Where's
up
it
and
going?
up. If Xbox continues to make some awesome stuff, it's gonna be amazing. Face 23 says, Colt, be a patient gamer and wait for Death Stranding 2 on Xbox. No, if I'd wait, I'd just play it on PC. But I think I'm probably gonna pick it up on PlayStation 5 this week. Just me asking the question: should I wait to get the ultimate experience on? Here, I'll pull a Dreamcast guy. I like Dreamcast guy on my favorite controller ever, my custom Elite 2. Or on PC, or I played on a DualSense 5 on PS5, which I also love that controller as well. So I can't lose, but just asking the question really bothered people. So Face, I might pick it up this week. I think I might. I'm almost done with Stellar Blade. So Steven Boxy, thank you for the $2 super says, will the next Xbox back-and-pack games have PC settings? I don't think so. There was a rumor that they were doing emulation through Xenia Canary, and that was completely shot down. I actually made a video on it while it was being debunked. So I pinned the comment, like, sorry about that, guys. But I think they're going to, I saw some people in the chat as well. Will they use some type of emulation? I think Jason Ronald's team has it nailed down pretty well that you can have your cake and eat it too if they can boost the games natively. Yeah.
We got Phil Spencer in the chat here. He's saying
cool.
high quality VR is coming, guys. There's Phil Spencer's in the chat, folks.
He
You see it
stops
right
by
there?
from time to time to hang out with Meg and I. We appreciate Phil.
It literally says Phil Spencer. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Phil.
It's got to be
Appreciate
legit.
it.
Yeah.
It's got to be him. It has to be him. He would only use his real name in our chat. Yeah.
In fact, he messaged
There
me
you
and
are,
he's
Cole.
like, he said, "Yo, Mag, I hope you get the all those achievements on Xbox for Resident Evil. Sorry that he was holding out on you on that 25 points."
I'm going back for that 25 points. Yeah. Now the thing is, what ended up happening is I ended up getting like 200 other points in the game because I bought the DLC, the one where you play as Ethan's daughter. So I went back and I played the DLC where you play as his daughter in the whatever, and that kind of messed it up. And that's something that's always pissed me off about Xbox is that when they release a DLC, you mess up an OCD man's brains when you go from 1,000 and all of a sudden it's 1175. And I'm like, come on, bro, you can't do this to me. You gotta give us some recognition of a completion, like very similar to a platinum trophy. Then tack on the points. Go right ahead, but give us that completion.
Do you get
know
pissed?
how painful that is?
Do you get pissed when you unlock an achievement with 1 at the end of the number or 3? Does that one like get your?
No. I'm not like Randall. I know Randall Thor loses, he gets really pissed about that. He's like, I can't look at those like odd numbers or whatever. That stuff doesn't bother me. What bothers me is if I've made the completion and you decide to tack on a DLC for 325 points or whatever, then it shows that as an incompletion. It shows on my timeline. It says, well, Mag has only finished 77% of the game. And I'm like, nah, bro. I finished 100% of that game, and you have taken away 23% away from me. That is something I have a problem with.
Yeah,
I stopped
PlayStation
chasing
at
that
least has
dragon
that.
long time ago.
Dude, I can't live with it. Like I said, at least the platinum trophy says, look, he did it, and now we tacked on a bunch of extra stuff that I don't have to, because most of the time I'm not going to buy DLC unless it's Borderlands and Resident Evil. Resident Evil, Borderlands, their DLCs are fantastic.
they're great.
If it's a fighting game, I'm buying every DLC.
Whoa. Okay.
Then any fighting game. Any fighting game that I get,
any fighting game. I got you.
Any fighting game, because we do Fight Night Friday. So I gotta have the DLC because I can't have you jumping me with a Kuma and I don't got a Kuma. That's not gonna happen. So that's ridiculous.
The chat is going wild with Phil Spencer here, ladies and gentlemen.
They love him.
Everybody
loves him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chat's gone off the wood. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If the next Xbox, PC, and console has the pop-up animations, I play a lot on PC, and there's nothing worse than being robbed of. I'm not an achievement hunter, but when an achievement pops up on Xbox, it's glorious. It's wonderful. It's amazing. And if I ever get a chance, next time I talk to Jason Ronald, I'm just going to tell him that. Like, this is so important. Like, just grab that transparent background animation, put it onto Windows. What are you guys doing? It's amazing. It's the best.
All right. Well, what you do, right? You take this segment right here, you clip this segment, and you put it on Twitter, and you just add him.
And just say,
and he will see it, and you already got the information out.
Just pull his beard. Just pull his beard.
There's my request.
Give him one of those 1980s WWF snapmares right over the shoulder by the beard. Just right on the mat. There you go.
Danny Passion Official. Danny Passion Official, thank you for the 2. Says, King, Xbox sucks. Laughing cried emoji.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
I think he was supposed to hurt my heart. No.
he's a big Xbox fan. I think maybe I don't know. There's a joke going on there, but Cypher says Sony Ben Station 6. Ben Station. You messy. So messy. So messy. All right. All right. So I want to talk about Gamescom because Xbox announced today. I want to give a little. Can I do a little rant? Can I do a little baby rant?
Go for it. Go scream because I'm going to do the same thing.
Xbox said no watch party, no Xbox Fanfest in 2025. We're just going to do a digital event. We're going to celebrate 10 years of Fanfest later in the year. We can't wait to announce it. Today they did. It is a pared down, even smaller. Instead of inviting 250 people with their plus ones to Xbox Fanfest, they're doing a 10th anniversary Fanfest celebration in Germany with 100 people entering the sweepstakes with a plus one. So not 500 people, a total of just 200 people that will be able to go to Germany on their own dime, room and board and flight and everything, to see the Xbox Fanfest celebration. There's big cool stuff at Gamescom when it comes to Xbox. It's their biggest representation ever, according to Xbox PR I've talked to. It's been this way for years. And so now they're doing FanFest half as big as it's ever been, and they're doing it overseas. And it just frustrates me that the year that Xbox said we're going multi-platform, we're making changes, it's just 4 games, but we're putting our games on PlayStation, that they just moved FanFest overseas for half of their audience, which I think are in North America, South America, North America, Canada, Mexico, everywhere, right? And it just frustrates me, King, that they have decided that they could save a bunch of money because it's cheaper to do it in Germany, far less people, And this is how they're going to celebrate 10 years of FanFest. And I've been able to go to 3 or 4 years of that. And you've gone to many. So I don't know. Was this as well one of your rant and gripes of the day?
Yes, of course. I've been going to FanFest for 10 years. And I can understand from their aspect is preaching to the choir. You're selling to the same exact people. The same exact people that show up. And that's looking at it from a cynical corporation standpoint. That's looking at it from Satya's standpoint on why must I give money to this? Why must I dig into the budget for marketing when we have marketing of right? So I got to give a shout out to Jason Ronald, and I got to give a shout out to Aaron Greenberg for showing up to Ben Kenobi's Hard Geek Shani and Wagamans and Ains and everybody else that put together the Xbox Community Fan Fest this year. We had a total of probably 50 people there, but two very important people that understood that community mattered was there. They were front and center, and they stood after the show. They talked with people. They gave testimonials on what it means to be in the Xbox ecosystem and what it means to have a fan base as ravenous and as dedicated as Xbox fans are. So it was something great to see, something that Satya doesn't get, something that they don't allow Phil to get, they won't allow Sarah to touch, and they will keep Matt Booty away from. And I understand that probably kills Phil at this moment because we were staying in the same hotel, right? So I got a chance to see Phil and Sarah every day, and I saw Matt once or twice when we was at dinner or whatever. But we get a chance to talk, and they aren't able to be at these places because they gotta have Secret Service people with them. So you have to pay for security. You have to pay for insurance. Jeez. You have to pay. So you got to think about it from a corporation standpoint. There's a ton of liability built into this because they will give us food, book bags, all this other stuff, right? So all this stuff is jackets. The last great one was the jackets, Colt. Remember, we got the jackets. We sat inside this giant arena.
Loved
and
it.
Everybody had a great time. It was a beautiful time. But you see the end result of what the business aspect of it is. So I can understand why they're going back to the original 100 people and they're giving you a +1. And I can see why they're not paying for your flight. I can see why they're not paying for your food.
They don't pay for your flight either way, but
all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I can see all of this stuff and I can see the reasons why as a corporation. But as a fan that has been dedicated to this ecosystem, this corporation, this community for 10 years of flying out on my own dime to California to be part of what I feel is the greatest fan service in the world, to see it come to an end. And the year is your 10th anniversary, knowing that next year you're going to reach your actual climax, your peak, your apex. To see you drop us like a dead weight and then to turn your eyes over to Germany, which is the home base of the competition. And I don't care if you feel that you're in a war or not, or you don't look at them as competition. Well, you gave the most nefarious PlayStation writer, the evil Bond villain, if you will. And we have one more thing.
Who's
Jeff, my guy. We have one more thing. We have Indiana Jones.
The Bond.
Prepare your anus, sir. Because I'm telling you this. If you thought they gave you the shaft last year at Gamescom, I cannot imagine what they're going to do this year.
Starfield.
Because they would never
on
pull
PS5.
that part.
Yeah.
That part. Maybe you're able to land on a gas planet. Shadow drop. Or in PlayStation's ecosystem.
Oh my God.
Right after the show. All right. So I'm telling you guys, if you heard about it, probably it's true. And they're going to do it in front of that fan base because that fan base is centered around PlayStation. This is the reason why
They're hungry.
last year, listen, Colt knew, like I knew, that they was going to announce Indiana Jones onto the PlayStation 5.
Yep.
Did I think they were going to be that stupid to say it at Gamescom? No, we knew right before the show. So when I tell you they killed themselves, it's because I said this is stupid. You know the game comes out in January. It was coming out in December for us. We didn't know when it was coming out for them. And then you could say after your version is announced, then you can say, and also on the PlayStation. I didn't think it was necessary. Well, somebody hit me in my DMs and explained to me the ramifications of exactly why they did it and what was the numbers. And then when you look at the viewership on Gamescom and who was they talking to, well, they were talking to the PlayStation Nation. They weren't talking to us. They already gave us Tokyo. Well, they were going to give us Tokyo Game Show after that. And they already gave us what was arguably our last game Fanfest with our jackets. And they gave us E-Day. And they sent us on our way.
They barely did that
smiling and happy. Remember that?
Yeah, they barely gave us last year's Fanfest, right, Paris? Like, we had heard that they scrapped that together so last minute in 2020.
That was Aaron. That was Aaron and the team fighting. And they gave us the best fan fest with those jackets, with the patches, and they did it up. And I appreciate them.
Man, I love that jacket.
It's over. It's over. But to have that over there, to spit in the face of
I thought for
all
sure
the people that went 10 years? No.
I thought for sure. I told everybody, I think I said on the show, I'm like, they're going to do Gamescom in Germany, and then they'll turn around and do a mini Gamescom in LA like they did last year. They're probably going to hold Gamescom in LA that week. Or I'm sorry, they're going to hold the 10th anniversary Fan Fest in LA, which would make sense because they're used to going there and doing the show. I said, or they're going to piggyback off of PAX West in Seattle, which would be the very first week of September, and they're going to do 10th anniversary Fan Fest. I've been trying to plan. I'm going to make a trip probably to San Francisco to see Zocker and Fonz and Gaz, and then it's around the same time as Gamescom and PAX. And I thought for sure that FanFest would be in either LA or Seattle, and then they're like, Germany. I'm like, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. It's going to be wonderful there.
Paris, but if Paris is still here, I got a theory on why FanFest was canceled.
I think
you guys got a chance.
Go for it.
You guys got a chance to go and use the Xbox ROG Ally. They took them to a secure place mag. They had a finite amount of influencers that they took to a secure place, and it was in a military type bunker, right?
Really?
With federal type of checkpoints. If you ever been to a federal building, that's exactly how they were treated. And in that building, each person was assigned a handler, right? And you were taken to a secure area where you were able to
Did they assign
access,
2 for Paris?
Well, Paris and Danny, remember, because Paris and Danny was together. But they had them in groups where when you went inside this room, you were in like group A, group B, group C, whatever. And those groups were led into a room, played a singular game in that room on those devices, was asked questions, and then released. I think that budget took the place of the budget because they weren't going to do both, right? And that took because immediately after the show, COG had to leave to go to the secure bunker. Now, when I got a chance to talk to our handler, when I got a chance to talk to that individual, he explained to me the reasons why only COG went, and that don't worry, we will have multiple events and you would be invited later on to have hands-on with the device. I got my assurances and I'm cool with that part. But I think that thing took away the other thing.
Really?
And I think they felt that this thing here was more important because you got to think about it. You had Linus, you had every major influencer that had a hand in it. And I'm pretty sure if you were able to go, you would have been there. I'm pretty sure that you got the invite. I'm pretty sure you did. And I know you're
Yeah.
not saying anything.
Yeah.
So
there was another
think-
game I really, really wanted to play behind the scenes that I wasn't able to. I had to say I can't make it, which sounds dumb because it was my daughter's graduation. It was an amazing weekend, but
but you got the invite, right?
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. So they took all major influencers and they had them, and I think they're using you guys as the marketing tool in that device to evangelize that device. And I think that dollars made more sense than throwing money to the wind to evangelize in front of the choir with Fanfest.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good way of putting it. Honestly,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think they valued your reach, which with 600 to 800 people watching at any given time, and whatever video you put up will go absolutely viral with your hands on that device. They would value that reach opposed to, oh, we had another fan fest and oh, they liked what we had to show. Or they could do that at home. But this is important because they have to launch that device coming late October, early October, or in the middle of October when Call of Duty hits. That device needs to be seen. And if you look at all the games centering around launching in October, that's where the priority lies.
Yeah, shoot. I mean, I'm not a fool. I know that doing a fan fest for 500 people or doing a watch party for 2,000 people, you know, including journalists and influencers, like it has a very limited goodwill that it gives out. I understand that. It doesn't keep me from being selfish or thinking of myself, going, man, I really wish I could be there with all of my brothers and my best friends and all of the people that I've met. Like there's so many people that have become important in my life. Megan's not one of them because Meg and I have not met at an actual event. So we need to make that happen. I got to give an incredible shout out to Sergio Bertolotti, who gave 50 channel memberships. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for your support. Wagerman says, don't worry, the Community Fan Fest. Now this is important. I'm about to read here from Wagerman. Wagerman, it was one of the key integral persons, dudes, bros, men, hero that helped put together an actual fan fest when Xbox would not. I only know about it from the outside. Dante, a good friend, was there. Hargeet Shawnee, I'll give the shout out like King did. Ainsley, Ben Kenobi was a major driver in making this happen. Wagerman says, don't worry, the Community Fan Fest will be so much better next year. Already working on it. He says, trust me, this community sticks together. Love this community. You guys rock. See you next year. He's not wrong. We go to the Yard House.
We'll be there next year.
Right, King? We go to the Yard House and we load up a 30-person table with Xbox fans.
Did it this year.
Oh man, we load up food.
We missed you, man. We missed you this year. You know, Wagerman knows that me and him have to have a conversation about some Marvel stuff. So again, I'm still waiting for that conversation, buddy. I think I got to shoot you a DM and give you my phone so we can have a chat.
So I got to work on next year. Is obviously like I got to capitalize on. It's going to be an incredible year for Xbox. And everything that you've heard on the show today, hit the like button and shout out over 700 people who are watching us today. We really appreciate it. There's so much coming when it comes to announcements and reveals, like hardware and devices and accessories and a ton of games, like all the games you've been waiting to see, all the gameplay and the release. All this is going to happen in 2026. And Meg and I always make the joke, like, you can't say wait till next year because Xbox has this year completely jam-packed. There's so many amazing games that you just get to play those and then look forward to next year. Meg, like, I got to get you out there next year. It's got to happen. If you and I aren't holding hands, skipping down the street together, what are we doing?
Yeah, getting chased by fentanyl zombies. Yes. Anyways, in the downtown LA. Anyways, all joking aside, you remember I bought tickets. And I even had the hotel booked, the whole 9 yards and everything else. And my wife and I were coming down. We were staying in Beverly Hills. We were ready to rock. And then they canceled the whole thing except for the Fan Fest. And so we were so deflated that we're just like, you know what, we're not going to go. Then we ended up going to the Dominican instead with the kids. And then this year I'm renovating the house. So any money that I was going to use to travel went there. And it kind of worked out because you ended up not going. But next year, there's very little to no excuse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
can't
So
wait.
I mean, we got to hit LA. My wife's never been to LA. I have, but she has never been. So you know,
And then
we gotta make it happen.
You got to go because Mag and I are going to take one night to go out and do karaoke, and we're going to pick up tons and tons of hot 90-year-old women while we walk around with wireless mics. It's going to be amazing.
I know. Listen, LA's got some wild stories, and I can tell you, and I can tell you this: when you get down to like those, when you get down to Sunset Boulevard, I'm gonna make new legends that week.
All right. Well, I can tell you this: you don't have to go anywhere. If you're gonna stay where we stay, Colt knows the hotel that we stay at, and if you stay there past 1:30 at night, it turns into whatever everything turns into.
Yeah, I know exactly. No, I know where you guys stayed last.
Meg, the first time I met
Eugenia
King,
girls. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and read it.
He's asking why I don't wear my hat. He goes, "You're blinding us," and I'm like, "Dude, what can I do? Man? I am literally the whitest Italian on planet Earth, but my head is bald. And what do you want me to do, man? How you doing? Be nice. What's up?
I really want to. I really want to go all the way. So this summer I went down to number 2. I really would love it. My family just won't let me yet, but we'll get there. So the first time I met King was 2019, and it was probably one of the worst E3s for Xbox. Like they didn't have any really good games that they showed. But when I met King, he rented a canary yellow convertible Corvette to drive around in LA that week. And King was like, he's like this tall off the top of the Corvette, 'cause, it's all low and he's super tall. Yeah. So he had to duck going under overpasses. It was amazing. And I
do that every year. Every year I rent a whatever.
Tell him tell him about you had Boomstick go for a ride with you. Tell him what happened.
No, Boomstick stole my car. All right, so I told Boom, sit and watch my car because he's a cop. Let me go grab my badges. I hear, and I look, and he's like speeding around the block, and he comes back, and he's like, "Yo, they made me. You're a cop. Nobody's making you move. So stop it." But anyway, he did that. Like, listen, every year, as part of the marketing tool with Iron Lords podcast, what I would do is I would go get an exotic car and I would drive to every hood. So I would go to a Crip neighborhood. I would go to a Bloods neighborhood. I would go to a Vatos neighborhood, and I will give out shirts. I would send my shirts to the family that's out there. I have we had something like 250 shirts, and I will give out shirts. So I would make sure that everybody had a shirt from Iron Lords, and this is when we were absolutely smaller than what.
Oh yeah, you guys were at like 8,000 subs back then.
Less than that. I was giving it out when we only probably had like 30 subs. And every year. So, but the year that we had rented a mansion in Beverly Hills, and this is the year COVID struck. We rented a mansion. We had 16 rooms. We was going to have 16 different influences there. We had a helipad there. We had a couple of Microsoft execs that was going to be there. We were renting out a yacht to have a boat party that was going to be the white boat party. Colt was going to be there. We were going to have a meet and greet in the daytime. It was called Meet the Lords. We was going to have the black and gold carpet where you come in, you take your pictures. We're going to give you your shirts. We're going to have a kiosk that we could play video games in. It was going to be execs. We was going to do it up big. Mention it looked very nice. Nice pools, everything. Everything looked great. It fell through because COVID hit. COVID hit and changed the world, flipped everything upside down, and it was terrible. Airbnb never saw anything like that ever. They didn't really have a payback system because we paid everything up front. So I literally had to pay everybody back out of my pocket and wait until Airbnb paid me back, and they took like a fee out or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. What potentially could have been the greatest spectacle in the Xbox community was put on hiatus. And we will relive that spectacle at some point in time with this Xbox community Fanfest. I know what wonderful things that they're doing. I know what the influences that we have. I know what the community that we have. I know with the minds that we have, we can achieve that and greater. So it's not something that didn't happen. It's just something that was delayed.
Yeah.
And with
yeah.
Mag gonna be there, he's a chef. You're gonna get a chance to taste the beautiful food. Cause you saw it, he messed himself up when he showed that grill with all that food. So I know he has the capabilities to make it happen, right? So he can feed the masses.
I could cook for 1,000 by myself.
That's right. So we can't wait to do that. We can't wait to taste your meat. Pause.
Whoa, Jesus.
Did that just happen? Days.
Yo,
oh my god!
I had to get you because you jumped on my timeline.
Oh my god! Pause. Somebody give me another beer. Yeah, Jesus Christ!
But you said we're going to be out there with 90-year-old women. I'm just saying. Oh, that's kind of crazy.
We make it happen.
But we're gonna have a great time doing that, man. I say no hat, man. I say show that bald head and be proud.
Yep.
You know.
I always have to harass him, like, dude, let's show the whole deal. I want the whole head. Pause.
You see the compromise in the chat. True 77. He goes, Matt, put on the hat and dim the spotlight. And I'm like, dude, you can't have it both ways, man. It's either one or the other. That's just the way it's gonna be. Listen, man, I could take care of vegetarians. I see you in the chat. I could take care of pescatarians. I could take care of all of that. I know you are. I know you are. I see your pictures. I see what you eat. Yeah. And so, like, listen, that's the way it's gonna be. I could take care of all of that.
What's a pescatarian?
Pescatarian.
I thought those were like the people that they have those churches down there, right? Oh, okay, seafood. All right. I was dating a pescatarian at one point, and
Jesus, Cole.
I don't know anything.
Of sipping a drink. Holy cow! Anyways.
It's been an amazing show, and I don't. I think
no, Satanist. It's not work for me, brother.
Yeah,
it's not work for me. Like I go up north. I go up north all the time, and I cook for everybody, even when I'm on vacation, because to me, it still brings me joy. You know what I mean? It brings me joy, even after 30 years of doing what I'm doing. Yes, I'm more executive now than I am anything else, but I still do it, and it brings me joy. So if I were to do that and cook for 30, 40 people and do the top of the line, whatever we need to do, I'm happy to. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. I think it was I don't know it was a holiday a couple months ago. You sent me a whole spread of stuff you made for everybody.
Yes,
but we won't make Meg do all the work when he goes to LA. But it's been a great show, and shout out to King for being here and putting up with our nonsense. But there's a lot to be excited about. I'm a happy gamer. I really am. There is so much good stuff, man. I'm excited. So I want to thank everybody who supported what we do and people for supporting Mag and supporting King on his Xbox Frontlines channel. And the Iron Lords and everything they do for the community. And thank you guys so much for supporting the content that we make. It means a lot, and you're part of us. The chat's amazing. I didn't even have to yell at anybody today. It was awesome.
0 people were out of hands today.
Yeah. Meg, tell everybody what you have planned for the week, and then we'll go to King, and we'll let you guys have the rest of your day back.
Yes. Well, you know what? Well, first of all, it was awesome to have King on the show tonight. And we had some wonderful people in the chat tonight. Great show overall. And some people were like, Mac, how come you're not talking? And I'm like, when there's a guest here, you let the guest speak. That's how it works. That's how, like, when you're doing a show and you got someone there, you let them speak because that's what they're there for. You want to hear what they got to say. You can hear what I say all the time. You go to my channel, when Colt and I are doing our thing, but when you got a guest, you let them speak. You don't interrupt. So for once, I actually kept my mouth shut.
I mean, they're usually telling us to shut up. So,
but either way, I got a lot going on this week. Starting tomorrow, I will be doing what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Tuesday. Yeah, tomorrow and Wednesday, I'm going to be wrapping up Resident Evil Village for the stream for everybody. Shout out to all the maggots out there who is supporting the channel and being so grateful. I know it's a funny name. And Voyager 88 and of course Lotus is free. We're dropping membership bombs in my chat. Really appreciate all of that, and the support has been absolutely amazing. And then, of course, Thursday, I'm going to be doing the Capcom showcase. And then right after that, directly into Death Stranding, too. So we're going to be doing that. And then if any news drops, I'm going to be dropping videos as well. So that's where you can find me. And thank you. Yodani Kazada's got me the link in the chat right there. Go check it out. And go check out King. Obviously, you're here for Cold as well. So check out all of us. And Funky Playbox, knock it off, man. You see what he said?
I mean, you have to have a balanced diet. You really do. There's a few people in the chat are like, wait, the show's ending? I just got here. I put a post on my channel on YouTube saying that we're doing the show early. I also put out one on Twitter, but hopefully if you turn the bell on, you'd get notified of when the show has any changes, but appreciate you. King,
that's right.
You've got a video coming out right now. Like it's out right now, right? Yeah, 15 minutes ago.
Well,
tell everybody what to do and everything.
It drops at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, so we got 15 minutes too. So we close. First and foremost, I want to thank Colt for hitting me up. And I told you, like, you hit me on Twitter, and he was like, man, he didn't see it. Let me call him. Let me hit him. Right. And he has the number. Right. So that is like, listen, not many people have numbers. Right. And when you do give them out, those are people that you value as friends. And I value him as a friend. I've known him since Dealer has helped us out. And I've told him the moment that me and him got a chance to connect on the Dealer show that he had that spark. And I told him, get your face out there, get out there and do your thing. And I supported him all the way through, no matter what, because I knew he'll be a superstar because he has that potential and he has that charisma. Same thing I say with all the people that I met at that show, Fonz, yourself, Zarka, you guys, I actually appreciate you guys, friends. Fonz has my number as well. So, Mag.
Yes, sir.
I love you. I really do. Because you're a multifaceted tool. And when I say that, he understands what I mean. Like when you go in that toolbox, he doesn't just do one thing. Right? He does it all. He's a multi-layered guy that has many facets to his enigma. Right? So you just can't peg him into one spot. Looking at the arcades in the background. I love that. Love that you come from my age. I love that. I love that you actually can cook and do other things. I love that. So I think the dynamic with you two guys work well. Well, we're going to see on karaoke night. We're going to see that.
Oh, you'll see.
We're going to see that. But I want to thank everybody for showing up here. You guys come out and this is what makes everything happen, right? You make the magic. And the magic is you guys and us being able to talk to you guys to get our thoughts out there. Now, a lot of my stuff is opinion, right? I don't want you sitting out there saying, King said this is exactly what's going to happen.
We're taking it to the 98% the Hewlett Packard, print out the report on the Hewlett Packard.
Hewlett Packard did it. But again, if I can look at what I can see and I can just bring that theory over to you guys and maybe we could like chop it up and figure it out. I would love to come back next November every Monday to laugh at the individuals thinking that a PlayStation console is coming out, which it won't. But I'm going to tell you what's coming out, that new Xbox. And y'all, remember, I'm 98% right. And I told you it was going to be so fast. It's going to be so quick that the flip was going to happen. And it was going to bell the mouse because I believe in greed. I believe in Satya. I think he wants that first piece of chicken and the last. He don't give a hell who eats in the middle, but you're not going to touch his plate. You can catch me on Xbox Frontline News, and you can catch me on Frontline Gaming Streams and Iron Lords Podcast, where you can hear more Xbox nonsense that I'm willing to kick your way. But sometimes it sticks. And when it sticks, it stinks. And don't be mad that I made you stink with the stuff that I threw at you that stuck. Because hashtag no PlayStation 6 is real. And if you want the shirt, go to my merch store. Because that's real and it's there now.
Oh my days.
Just cut the feed, man. You can't talk after that. It's over. He just hit the pinnacle.
Hit the like button. Subscribe to these two tools. Subscribe to this tool. We'll see you next week. You guys are amazing. King, thank you so much. Mag, you're amazing. Thank you so much. We're out.